and welcome back to Guerrilla Cricket South Africa for the second Bedway Test. It's the session after lunch. South Africa are batting in the second innings of the match, with Sri Lanka being bowled out for 157 in the previous innings. South Africa are currently 22 without loss, with Aiden Markram on 3 of 12 and Dean Alga on 19 of 18. My name is Mpho Muglani, and I've got Tepo Taela with me, as well as Otto Simon, and we'll be taking you through this session. I think South Africa are in the pound seats right now, having bowled Sri Lanka out cheaply. They'll be wanting to bat big and bat long, and so we're in for an enthralling hour and 2 hours and a half of some good cricket. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at Guerrilla SA, Guerilla SA. You can also tweet into us there, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. That is, I'm just going to start handing over to Tepo to start doing ball by ball, or is it Otto?
I'll be doing ball by ball. Hello, everybody. Asita Fernando is warming up, so let's hear your thoughts there, Chepo.
Yeah, exciting times. It's always exciting to see a debutant as he's steaming in here.
Yes, he's got starting his run up now. Here by me facing is Markram over the wicket, and this one left alone outside off stump, no run.
No, as I was saying, it's always exciting to see a new debutant in the test arena. Always just good to see what these guys have got. So yeah, we're going to keep an eye on the young man here.
Now let's pull up his figures here, because I can't do that today. I'm able to open more than one tab here in my browser. South Africa 22 without loss. First ball is done. Let's see Asita Fernando coming in again over the wicket. He's a right arm medium, fast medium. Over the wicket now to Markram, and again left alone outside off stump. He's getting some nice shape, Asita Fernando.
Yeah, so far I like the look of him. I think it's just obviously with coming into Test cricket, because Test cricket's about consistency and making the batsman play. Not a lot of wayward balls from him, but he's still obviously giving a boundary ball every over, which is something that the South Africans also struggled with in their innings.
I definitely like to see a lot of consistency.
As he comes in again to Markram over the wicket, this one on leg stump, just helped on its way to fine leg by Aiden Markram, and the ball will reach the boundary as the man comes running around from what looked like a square leg on the boundary. That's the release ball. That's the 4 ball there by Asita Fernando.
Yeah, we definitely want to see a lot more consistency, line and length. Going around the same pace as Vian Mulder in the previous innings, and we can see that the pitch is giving a lot of assistance here, getting a lot of nip. So hopefully it just backs his abilities and gives the South African batsmen some challenges to think about, you know.
Those were leg buys. They weren't chalked up for Markram. Asita Fernando in again over the wicket to Aiden Markram. Three slips in. This one defended in between backward point and gully, and backward point and third slip giving chase. The man at third slip outstripping his teammates there, gets the ball back, and they take a easy 2 runs there. Markram onto 5 of 16, 28 without loss in the 6th over.
That was a very nicely guided shot. There's some soft hands from Markram, and just finding that gap in between the fielder at gully and backward point.
Now, who was that guy who outran everyone from third slip? Because the guy from
Mendes.
It's Mendes.
Nice work in the field there by him, saving 2 runs for Sri Lanka. Asita Fernando in again to Markram, blocks this one to mid-off, no run. Okay, so we've got 3 slips, a gully, a backward point. We've got the mid-off standing next to the non-striker's crease. And 1 more ball to go in Asita Fernando's 3rd over in international cricket. He's only conceded 12 runs so far, but some loose deliveries there. Not really good shots by the batsman. I would say that last one by Markram was a good shot, but the one down the leg side, definitely the bowler's error. And then we've got mid-wicket and long on as well. Markram again faces him. This one is fielded by the man at Gully this time and no run. 28 without loss after 139 kilometers an hour. That last one by Asita Fernando. After 6 overs, South Africa 28 without loss.
We have a tweet here from David Mealy saying, final session of play underway with an unbeaten South African opening pair to add sanitizer to Sri Lanka's wounds. Oh, yes, indeed. Keep an ear on the proceedings right here on One World Sports Radio with myself, Umpo, and Ozo. And yeah, we'll give you the ball by ball right here on One World Sports Radio. Shout out to our main man, David.
Yes, he's lucky enough to be at the ground. Well, he's at the office, you could say, because that's where he works. Yeah. So he's lucky to be at the ground today as part of the, shall we say, the essential Wanderers staff there. Yes, like hand sanitizer onto the paper cuts of Sri Lanka. Vishwa Fernando will now continue.
He's actually there for us. We managed to get somebody into the comm box for this test match.
Okay. Vishwa Fernando left-handed over the wicket to Dean Elgar, who just plays a very nice cover drive past the man at mid-off and down to the boundary for 4, signalled by umpire. His name escapes me now.
Was that Marie Erasmus?
Marie Erasmus. That's
it. It was Marie Erasmus. Yes, it was.
I was thinking about surnames. This one, just anticipating the swing very nicely. Dean Elgar getting in behind the line and playing it just to the right of the man at mid-off.
From the middle of the bat as well. A very good cover drive. It's good. It's good for the bowlers as well, because that's definitely what they want. They want to get some wickets here and they want to get Dean Elgar playing at the ball.
Yeah, and this time he doesn't oblige. He lets this one go through outside off stump, left it on line. 23 of 20 is Dean Elgar. 32 without loss is the score. South Africa trail by 125. Fernando is bowling his 4th over. He's already conceded 16. So not a good start by the two Fernandos. And yes, we have had David Midgley tweeting at the official ABBA account when these two started the attack for Sri Lanka. Left-handed Vishwa Fernando to Dean Elgar. This one tighter on off stump, defended. Out to backward point, no run. Anything else that we've got going on here in the tweets? Not that I can see. And Ravi, the heavy roller ready, also says here that Dean Elgar has reached 4,000 test runs.
Yes, he reached that just before tea time.
Oh, I see. Okay, sorry, you've read that one already. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. Did you say anything there?
No, it was the same tweet. Sorry. Vishwa Fernando over the wicket to Elgar, defends this down into the ground, out to cover, and there's no run. 131 kilometers an hour by Vishwa Fernando. That's about as high as he goes.
So just a question on the Sri Lankan bowling attack. Not a lot to defend on the board. 125 run deficit without any wickets fallen. What must be going through the bowlers' minds? What are the plans that they'll be making? Is it looking for wickets or is it tightening up the innings here?
I think when the ball's hard, you need to look for wickets. And then if wickets don't come, you need to try to build pressure with bowling well, which I think that's going to be the stuff.
Short outside off stump, but a bit tight to the off stump line, and Dean Elgar manages to sort of fend it away, swat it away to the deep mid-wicket boundary, and they take what looked to me like 2 runs. So he was shaping to pull that shot, and then the bounce just surprised him a little bit, and he had to adjust his shot at the last moment, and just managed to get enough bat on it, because that was close to the outside half of the bat for Dean Elgar. Good recovery in the end after misjudging the bounce there, or being surprised by the bounce. Fernando Vishwa in again, defended to the extra cover region, no run. 34 without losses the score. Elgar moves on to 25 of 24 and Markram 5 of 18. So Algar's score has been bad, delivery is punished. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I could say that, and that's been also across the day. I think the runs that Sri Lanka got, even towards the back end of their innings, were largely because of some poor bowling, and obviously both are inexperienced attacks, so the consistency has to come in. I think the only bowler who had a consistent spell was Vian Mulder in that 30 minutes before lunch, where he bowled. I think it was 3 overs for 3 wickets and 1 run. But that's the rhythm that both these bowling attacks need to get themselves into, especially with the tours that they will be going on after this test. Obviously, South Africa going to Pakistan and England. England already waiting for Sri Lanka to come back into Colombo, with England having already arrived yesterday in Sri Lanka. So you know, with all the injuries go around in Sri Lanka's team, they're going to need to find some fast bowlers who can really help them restrict the English and not give a lot of freebies like there are to the South Africans. And I think Suranga Lakmal is going to be very important with them.
I was actually wondering, where is Lakmal? Is he also injured? Was he injured before arriving? Because he didn't even play the first test.
So he came in with a niggle. They thought he'd be fine for the second test. But he had a fitness test on Friday, to which he failed. It's Sunday today. It's slightly unlucky for the Sri Lankans, but they came with a squad of 21. Was just happy that they could field a fast bowling trio today with Asita Fernando as well as Dushman Chimera. So it's a good planning from the Sri Lankans. As we see, it's 34 without loss. I think we've lost Otto a little bit there. We do apologize. And it's Ashrita Fernando, Dean Alga facing up to Fernando here. So Africa 34 without loss. Third ball of the of his fourth over. This one comes, gets the edge and goes to second slip. Really great ball from Asita Fernando, who is takes the wicket of Aiden Markram. They're caught behind at the slip 4-5, and a lot of disappointed South African fans, I can assure you. But what a beautiful ball from Asita Fernando. Had the lovely shape into the right-hander and seamed away as it hit the deck. Aiden Markram not knowing what to do, getting squared up there. And caught at slip. Really great bowling from the Sri Lankans. Hats off to Asita Fernando for the breakthrough.
An absolutely fantastic delivery, Umpo. As you said, just seeming that late movement is what got Aiden Markram in the end, and he just tried to fish for that ball as it was rising, and it was a very comfortable catch for second slip over there. Markram dismissed for 5 of 21 balls. Kusal Mendes there catching that one. As you said, South Africa on 34 for 1. And as we were saying, we're just looking for the right line, the right length. I was actually going to ask about that. What would be the ideal line and length? And that was just it. That was just it.
It's that good length, just about 4 meters away from the batsman, just enabling the ball to seam off the deck. Otto, you saw that wicket. What did you think?
Yeah, I was thinking about an interview with Vian Mulder that was recorded yesterday, and Charles Langeveld telling the South African bowlers to keep it simple, to stick to that line and length, find your line and length to the batsman that's facing you, and stick to that, because this wicket will give you something as a bowler. If you try and get too fancy on this wicket, you can be punished, because the outfield is quick. It's not the biggest ground in the world.
And the other thing that Aiden Markram surprised him was the extra bounce.
Yes.
I was about to mention that. We've been seeing a lot of extra bounce here on this pitch, and it's going to be a bit of a challenge for the batsman. But as long as you hit those right lengths, you hit those straps, it's going to be quite a test match indeed.
Yeah, so Rassie van der Dussen is the next batsman in. He's going to face the first ball, and this one outside the off stump from Asita Fernando. Otto, I'll hand over to you.
Yes, left alone. South Africa trailed by 123. So his first test wicket for Asita Fernando. He couldn't have wished for a better start. And as you guys have pointed out, just looking at the replay of Markram's wicket, the movement of the pitch was enough to catch his edge. And he's very disappointed with himself. A good catch at second slip, solid work there. And obviously Asita Fernando ecstatic with his first test wicket. Had a look at his figures, his domestic first-class figures, and he's a really quality bowler, judging by those. Asita Fernando into Rassie van der Dussen, who fends this down into the ground, out to point for no run. End of Asita Fernando's fourth over, 34 for 1. Just what the doctor ordered for Sri Lanka. They must be thinking that if they can get a few more sticks here in the next few minutes, 1 wicket brings 2. Then they'll have their tails up, and they might think that they're in with a shout to get the first innings lead down to as few runs as possible, or maybe get a first innings lead of their own. As he comes in again, Asita Fernando right on over the wicket to Van der Dussen, on off start, defended to gully, no run.
Yes, I love
that is now the end of the fourth over for Asita Fernando, 34 for 1. Yes,
I love that ball from Fernando, where he's just making the batsman play at all times, and that's why Markham found himself in that catch-22.
Yeah, so maybe he can learn from the lessons from the South African bowlers, where they made mistakes in terms of their consistency and getting over eager, bowling, bowling to tail enders. I heard you guys mention this on air. You want to bowl to the tail enders as if they are opening batsmen. Keep to your disciplines. Don't get carried away by the fact that you're bowling to a tail ender. Algar lets this one by Vishwa Fernando go outside off stump, no run.
And as you're mentioning the South African bowling attack, we have a few tweets here from our men. We have 2 options. Oh, sorry. We have a poll. We have 2 options. Okay. It's either none or none at all. Is everything okay? Oh, sweet.
No, everything is fine. I'm just I'm hearing an echo, so I'm just trying to locate it to just figure out if we need to do something about it.
Vishwa Fernando to Algar, and this one blocked. Bowler stops it from going anywhere. No run. 34 for 1.
A few more tweets here. Another question that David Miji poses to us. As Rassie van der Dussen walks to the wickets, no one seems to be concerned by the fact that he doesn't even stand first slip for the Lions. My question is, who does?
Who doesn't play first drop for the Lions? Is it first drop?
Doesn't play first slip. First slip. First drop. Wow.
Is it first drop or first slip, Dave?
Left arm over the wicket. And this one left alone by Algar through to the keeper for no run. And Algar is back to making the deliveries look more tricky to face than they are. Stepped across his off stump after the ball passed him and gesturing in the air a little bit. Very extravagant leave by Dean Algar. 25 of 27 for Algar. Van der Dussen yet to get off the mark. He's faced 3 balls. They've got for Algar 3 slips, a gully, backward point, extra cover, mid off. Algar faces again. This one is off the face of the bat, out to backward point, no run.
Just on this Lungi Ngidi discussion, we have another response, not essentially to that tweet, but saying it's not impatience, to the tweet that you had earlier, Umpa, that said that South Africans are impatient when it comes to the cricket team and dropping Ngidi. He says it's not impatience, but he's showing very little anything from what he was when we first saw him to now. There's a big difference. Also, it's elite level cricket and it's not grassroots.
Vishwa Fernando to Algar, out to mid-on, no run.
This man was our best bowler in 2020, and all of a sudden everyone's forgetting that he's got all this skill in him. He's the most skillful bowler we have, and he is the most accurate bowler we have. And just because Nokia went on the other end taking 4 wickets for a clump doesn't negate that Lungi is the guy. And this is the problem, I think, with South Africans, that whoever doesn't perform today will be taken out by social media because everybody seemingly wants things now rather than giving people a lot of patience. Lungi averages 26 in tests. And so
Vishwa Fernando, blocked by Algar into extra cover, just about fumbled, and they go through for a single. And so that's the end of the over. Algar will retain the strike. 35 for 1 is the score. Trail now 122 do the Proteas. Carry on.
Just it seems to be the nature of all sports in general. When people aren't performing at 100%, they're already being lynched by the Twitter mobs and all that.
Just
so
when people are having a bad day, he is performing at 100%. He bowled really well in the morning. So I don't understand why people all of a sudden want to throw the baby with the bathwater. The same thing that happened with Pamela in that first match where he had a bad hour and then all of a sudden everyone thought he wasn't cut up for Test cricket.
Yeah, look, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Mpo, in terms of South African sports fans in general, and just make sure you have some context before you start criticizing these players, because Lungi wasn't given a chance. The other guys were cleaning up and bowling really well. So Asita Fernando now around the wicket to Dean Algar, and this one is played out to mid-off for no run. You know, he got carted around a bit by Pereira, who was flashing at everything and edges going over the slips and through the cordon and, you know, all of that sort of thing. All of the South African bowlers were a little bit loose, but just because Mulder and Nortje were picking up wickets, you know, how is he the bad guy now?
Just to play devil's advocate, he did have the worst statistics of the day of the bowlers. Unfortunately, he
Fernando tighter on middle stump, just dropped into the covers, and they go through for a single for Algar. He moves on to 27, and Rassie van der Dussen will now face the right arm Asita Fernando for the first time. No, he's going to continue facing Asita Fernando after coming in for Markram when Markram lost his wicket. No danger in the run there, so good quick single dropped.
Yeah, as I was saying, it's a bit unfortunate that he's being lynched by the Twitter mob, but follow-up question to that: how seriously do selectors take what's being said on social media into account?
They shouldn't take it at all, because if they do, we'd have a change. We'd have different 11s every time South Africa play.
Every time.
The person who performed badly in the previous test wouldn't play in the next test. So, for instance, Rassie van der Dussen wouldn't be playing here if we followed what social media does, because Rassie was the one who performed poorly in that previous test, and so he's the one who was on the chopping block. It's just obviously said that today it's Lungi Ngidi for the way he bowled. But someone's always going to have the worst bowling figures. It doesn't mean that he's not good enough to play in this Protea side.
Asita Fernando, that last one was left alone by Van der Dussen. He comes in again, right arm over the wicket to the right-hander. 3 slips in, left alone by Van der Dussen. Carry on, Paul.
No, I'm just, and I think that's the one thing that people need to understand. He's only played 6 tests. He averages 26 with the ball. I think he's probably got a better average than the outside of, obviously, Mulder probably has a much better average with Pamela. But we just need to be fair on the guys, because they just really are new in Test cricket. You can't just take a handful of games and say he's not cut out for it. Lungi Ngidi is one of our best bowlers. He's been that across all 3 formats for the past 18 months. So we need to put a little bit more respect on his name.
Absolutely.
This is just ridiculous.
Asita Fernando over the wicket to Van der Dussen on middle and off, and this is an appeal for LBW that looked like it was going down leg side and high. So good bowling here by Asita Fernando. This will give Sri Lanka some hope. If the DRS timer runs out now, they're not going to review that, so they agree with you, Mpo.
So you got this one to shape in.
Yeah, that was hit him on the upper thigh, on his back leg. Yes.
So we've seen Asita bowl. we've seen Asita bowl outswingers. Now this one is swinging in. So this is where he's going to make Rassie van der Dussen think. My European out on YouTube says,
Fernando in again, left alone by
indeed.
Van der Dussen and misses everything. Good leave, you would say, from Protea's point of view. Asita Fernando cannot believe that it didn't hit anything. That's the end of his 5th over. He's conceded 13, taken 1 wicket. Great start to his Test career at the Wanderers. And if you're a medium pacer or a fast medium, this is probably one of the best places in the world to make your debut.
100%. This is fantastic bowling here by Fernando. We have a tweet here from
taking
David
advantage of the conditions. Yeah.
100%. David's tweet says 37 extras in the first innings of South Africa versus Sri Lanka in the first test versus just 5 in this Lankan's innings. That's the South African statistics, I believe. And I mean, even the Sri Lankans have been looking very, very good on this surface, as we're seeing lots of movement here on offer for the bowlers. So it's a great test match to watch, I must say. Lots of wickets falling.
100% agree with that, especially Asita Fernando on debut, as Vishwa Fernando now left armour to the left-handed Dean Algar. That's 2 wide outside off stump to get Algar interested, and he leaves it alone for no run. 36 for 1. Algar on 27 of 33. Van der Dussen, yet to score, has faced 7 deliveries. Yeah, just my thoughts on Lungi and Giri. I think the kind of thing that gets you dropped from a national cricket team is if you're not executing the plans correctly. So I remember Eric Simons talking about the plan, the execution, and the result. Because as Vishwa Fernando comes in again to Algar, flashes outside off stump, and this goes through to the keeper, misses the edge that was wide and foolish from Vishwa Fernando, tempting the drive, and got a booming cover drive from Algar. Algar lucky not to get an edge there. So, just to finish that thought, you might be bowling really good lines and lengths, or bowling, short balls like Nortje does if your captain and your coach ask you to do that. And then you end up getting top edges and things of that nature flying to the boundary, and your figures don't look great, but the coaching staff will know what you were told to do. Algar defends this one on off stump, no run back down the pitch to the bowler. So they'll take that into account, and then obviously your fitness. And as we know with some of the guys in the South African team, at least, that you need to be able to play nicely with the other guys in the change room. If you're too much of a disruption, they'll also ask you to not get on the plane for the next tour or join them at the hotel,
100%. And just on that, I didn't really give my 2 cents, but it just seems a bit silly if we're going to drop the likes of Lungi and Giri, being our most senior bowler, besides Keshav Maharaj.
There's that also. As South Africa take 2 runs here from Dean Algar, pushing this out to deep mid-wicket. 2 runs there to Algar. 38 for 1 is the score now. He moves on to 29 of 36.
Nice
off his hip. Yeah.
So here's the thing with Dean, I think, and I think all the batters need to know is he always just waits for the ball to come into his half for him to play it. He won't be looking for wild shots outside the off stump like the 2 balls ago. That was uncharacteristic of him, and that's the true nature of the opener that he is. That's why he's such a great. He's gotten 4,000 Test runs because of the fact that he's always forced the bowler to bowl in his half rather than him going out and trying to attack the bowler and be aggressive. And he speaks of this thing called controlled aggression, where you need to be positive, but also you need to be able to rein yourself in terms of being ultra aggressive, because being ultra aggressive brings those slips into play.
Yeah, and Algar pushed that one to mid-off for no run. This one in again, left alone by Dean Algar, out through to the keeper, no run. That's the end of Vishwa Fernando's 6th over. He's conceded 21 runs, 38 for 1. South Africa trail by 119. Rassie van der Dussen, yet to get off the mark, is going to face the man of the hour for Sri Lanka, Asita Fernando.
Just on Dean Algar, quick comment. As much as the shots on the offside are a bit uncharacteristic. He does tend to fish for the ball on the offside from time to time. I've seen him edge quite a few. But sometimes it pays off. Sometimes he plays a lovely cover drive. But you're 100% correct, Umpo. As soon as it's close to the pad, as soon as it's close to the body, as most left-handers do, just nips it off the body, rotates the strike, or gets a lot of runs on the leg side. A quick tweet from Anis Mohammed to us. It says, "Play nicely with others. Nice way of bringing up Lance Klusner, ...
Van der Dussen tries to defend this one, but it hit him on the pads, going down leg side, in swinger from Asita Fernando, starting a bit too tight to the stumps, and there is no run.
Sorry, guys, for Lance Klusner was before my time. Did he not play well with others? What does this all mean?
Those were the rumors, because he was like batting like a monster and bowling, man of the match type of performances as an all-rounder, and then just got dropped for no apparent reason, and apparently afterwards it came out. Asita Fernando, Rassie van der Dussen leaves this outside off stump, and there's no run. Asita Fernando is setting up Van der Dussen here, just like he did Markram. He's able to move the ball in and out to the right-hander, and so Rassie van der Dussen really needs to concentrate here, and Algar just needs to stay away from those balls that are away from his body outside off stump. So looks like Asita Fernando has a good plan here to surprise the batsman with an in swinger or an out swinger. So those were two in swingers now. Let's see what he does next here for Rassie. Comes over the wicket, left alone again. That one shaping into the line, coming into middle and off, and then shaping away. Hopefully Rassie's got his eye in now. He nods to Algar for whatever reason. And I see Algar's not wearing the Hughes flaps. Rassie is. He's still yet to score his Rassie, 38 for 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a test of Rassie's off stump this over. Balls are coming into him, balls are shaping away, but still in that corridor of uncertainty. So Rassie really needs to be a concentrator over here.
Again, left alone outside off stump. Good leave by Rassie van der Dussen. That was the outswinger, but it started way too wide of the stumps. The line from the bowler's hand, spotted by van der Dussen and left alone. So that's where the corridor of uncertainty, that name comes from, because the line looks like it could hit your stumps if it's an in swinger, and it could miss your stumps if it's an out swinger. So that's where you create that doubt in the batsman's mind whether he should play at the ball or leave it. So good work here by Asita Fernando. This is excellent bowling from the Sri Lankan. It comes in again and blocked outside off stump by Van der Dussen. He was well behind the line there. No run. Yes.
I think the thing about the Wanderers is that you can leave the ball on length. And also at Centurion, actually. So like with that Markram wicket, he could have just left the ball on length because it wasn't cannoning into the stumps. So I think whereas in this over with Asita Fernando, he's bowling it slightly fuller at the top of off. So Rassie has to play pretty much at every ball.
100%. So Asita Fernando summing up the conditions well, doing what is required to do. This one left alone again by Rassie van der Dussen. No run. End of the over. Asita Fernando, certainly the shining light for Sri Lanka on this tour so far, I would say. 38 for 1 is the score.
I wanted to say something very similar about the debutants, in fact, of the Sri Lankan setup. Hasaranga is also very impressed in the first test, definitely the one that stepped up. And you love to see it when debutants get the opportunity on the international stage and they step up. They show why they've been chosen and show why they're in the squad, and give selectors those selection headaches, really making it difficult to select particular players. So yeah.
Yes, those bowlers that are coming back from injury will have, like you say, will be on the selectors' minds along with this performance by Fernando. Going back to Sri Lanka, they might go for the the experienced guys, but he's certainly so far in this innings, he's definitely shown the selectors that, listen, if you guys find a pitch for me with some bounce, I'll do the job. Dushmanta Chamira is going to replace Vishwa Fernando, and he will be playing bowling from which end? I'm not sure at the moment. We'll check that for you now.
It is the Call It Drive end.
Great stuff. Thanks, Paul. Call It Drive end. He's played 9 test matches so far, so also quite new. Let's see if he can follow the example of Asita Fernando. He's bowling over the wicket, right-handed to the left-handed Algar. 3 slips, a gully, backward point. Algar slaps this one on off stump, cross-batted shot, deep mid-wicket, 4 runs. Good shot by Algar. A little bit too short. Good line, tight on off stump, but too short, and Algar was able to pull that mid-wicket for 4.
Yeah, it's a bit of a loosener from Chimera, dragging the ball slightly shorter, and Dean Algar just obliging him with runs to the boundary.
Very well played. Looking very comfortable in the crease is Dean Algar. We have a quick tweet from David Midgie saying, the key to batting at Wanderers in 2020, 2021, either you have to be circumspect, like Dom Hendricks getting 100 or 300 balls, or go hard early, like Wesley Marshall getting 100 or 60.
Better length there by Chamira. Algar surprised by the bounce again and manages to get behind the ball down onto the ground through the gap between slips and gully for 4. False shot there by Algar, but nicer length for Chamira. Going across the left-hander, pitches on middle and off, so Dean has to play it because it might shape in. And he
bounced a little bit higher than Dean was expecting.
Bounced a lot higher than he was expecting. Yeah. Yep.
That reaction, 100%. Pitch is giving a lot of bounce there. So, what do you think the plan is for the 2 South African batsmen? Is one going to be the aggressor and one going to be the defender? Do you think Dean Algar, who's usually the solid structure, the solid person at the crease, is he going to be the aggressor? I
don't think you don't need to have an aggressor and defender like you do in ODIs. I think right now these two just hit the strike. And yes, Otto?
Just defender to point, no run. Carry on.
I think with these two right now, where the game is, you just need guys to rotate the strike. You've gotten there's always a bad ball in every over, so wait for that. There's no need for you to exert any extra pressure on Sri Lanka. They're already under scoreboard pressure already.
Chamira over the wicket to Algar. This one on middle and off, and it's pulled again, this time a bit finer. So the guy, the fielder there is Asita Fernando, running around from fine leg. There's a single taken, 47 for 1 is the score, and the South Africans trail by 110. Yeah, I think opening batters anywhere in South Africa, just get the ball soft, tire get through the opening bowlers, get the ball as soft as possible, as quickly as you can, and you do that by just waiting for the bad ball, because at most South African grounds, the ball will not be scuffed up and damaged by the surface of the pitch or the outfield. You need to get behind the line or just let the ball go through to the keeper as much as you can to get the bowlers tired and get the ball soft, because if it's hard like this on this pitch, it's going to move off the wicket and swing through the air. As we see Chamira running in again, right arm over the wicket now to Rassie van der Dussen, 3 slips and a gully in. No run there as Rassie leaves this alone, left on length and line, no run.
So it's very interesting to see how the Sri Lankans bowl well to the right-handed batsman, but they're struggling against Dean Algar's as the left-hander, even though the Sri Lankan batting order has about 5 left-handers in the top order. So the question is, who are they bowling to in the nets?
Yeah, that is a good question.
That is a good
Maybe they're not bowling to the nuggety Dean Algar. A quick tweet from David Midgie here saying, to me, the word that I was looking for when it comes to Dean Algar is nuggety. No word more apt to describe the man. And a quick, that was also to our main man, Simon Gear, as well.
But van der Dussen left alone, no run, 47 for 1. carry on. Yeah.
With that said, Dean Algar has been ticking away quite quickly. I'm not sure what his strike rate is, but last I checked, when I saw the score, it was 38 of 40 balls. So, he's 38 of 42, in fact. So he's moving quicker than usual, quicker than what I'm used to. Is Dean Algar. And do you think? I remember you mentioned that he has decided to sort of shift gears to get the scoreboard ticking, whereas on the other end, yeah.
I think it's more that Asita Fernando was bowling mainly at Markram and Van der Dussen, and then Dean Algar got some loose ones from Vishwa Fernando that he was able to punish. So he's taken advantage of mistakes from the bowlers a bit better, and the bowlers have been making more mistakes, like Mpo said, against Dean Algar. Asita Fernando continues now, right arm over to Algar on leg stump, hits him on the pads, but that's pitched outside leg, no appeal. 141 kilometers per hour from Asita Fernando, 87 miles an hour. How much quicker can he go? We'll see soon.
He's looking really good. He's looking really good. The batsmen don't seem to be picking it out as smoothly. And as you can see, just looking at the replay here, movements in the air, movements off the pitch. This boy's moving, man.
Yeah, that line
nice and full.
To get Dean into a little bit more trouble.
Yeah, he's swinging it through the air. He started that delivery a little bit too much on middle and leg. He goes in again outside off. This one is sort of swatted down into the ground or blocked down into the ground out to extra cover for a single. This is good by Algar. If he's going to face Fernando swinging the ball both ways, just get the single and get him bowling to the other guy. 39 now for Algar, or 44. 48 for 1 is the score.
Quick tweet here from Anis Mohammed at Gorilla Cricket SA. Klusner was before my time. Now I feel super old. That was in quotation marks. Now I feel super old. Thanks for that. You're not old, Anis. I'm just very, very young. I'm green behind you. That's the thing.
It doesn't sound like it when you're on the air, though. Asita Fernando over the wicket, left outside off stump, no run. So that ball from Asita Fernando that got Dean Algar in trouble was a very good in-swinger. Just started too much on middle. If he can start that line just a little bit middle and off, coming into Dean Algar, that's going to cause the left-handed trouble as well. So good work from Fernando. He can certainly bowl to left-handers. Apologies for the guard the dog in the background.
No, those dogs are important. Don't apologize for an essential worker. Those guys, someone robbed us, bro. But that's besides the point. Ooh.
Oh, nice drive there by Rassie van der Dussen. Asita Fernando with the outswinging full delivery and straight to the extra cover fielder, no run.
That one was spanked as well from the middle of the bat. Rassie van der Dussen looked very good as he pushed this one on the offside. We're just seeing the action replay here. Yeah, from the middle, it looked very nice.
That was just too wide.
Just a bit too wide, yeah.
Yeah, just unlucky that Rassie found the fielder there.
Too wide and too full. Now, good shot by Rassie. He's got some bat on ball there, so that's good to see from South Africa's point of view. And picking the line correctly. Asita Fernando setting his field now. He's got a point, backward point, 3 slips, fine leg, man on the square leg boundary, mid on, mid off, quite wide, both of them. And he goes in again to Rassie van der Dussen. This one on middle and off, swinging out. A big appeal by the Sri Lankans. I don't know why that wasn't given out. I think there must have been
there were a couple of noises. There's a couple of noises, yeah.
And
also height is another thing.
Yeah, captain saying high pitch.
You don't want to waste your reviews here with this much bounce. Anything can happen. But once again, we have to say this bowling display is absolutely fantastic from Asita Fernando. Constantly asking questions of the batsman. Rassie van der Dussen has not looked comfortable at the crease, and that is Test cricket. That's what we came to watch. A quick tweet here from Sean. Rassie, a.k.a. Kalpner Jr., will dig in. Never seen him. It is. I thought it was Kepler, but the Islander.
Asita Fernando to Van der Dussen, driven to backward point, no run.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, Kepler Jr. never seen him being an aggressor early in his innings, regardless of the format. Two shades of that. I think that's a nod at the one day international side of his game. But yeah, no, we really hope that he gets himself set and he gets to see the ball very nicely because he's a quality batsman.
Indeed, he is. So let's see if he can get his test match cap on, literally and figuratively, of course, and then just stick with Dean Algar here. Get the partnership going, tire out these bowlers, get that ball a bit softer, and the batting will become easier as the day goes on, I think, because this hard new ball is causing trouble.
But you also got to consider that the Sri Lankans are bowling better to the right-hander than they are to the left-hander. And Dean, 39 from 46, has been a lot of leg stump half volleys, a lot of wide balls that he's had to chase. Whereas Rassie's gotten balls consistently in that channel. The wider ones, he's finding the fielders. So it's a little bit tough for him. But the key here is to not lose your wicket.
Exactly. And that last one by Chamira continuing from the duck pond end, I think. No, from the... No, where am I now? No. He's bowling towards the
corner drive.
That's the corner drive in. He goes in again to Algar. That last one was defended to point. This one is defended back to mid-off and there's no run. 48 for 1. Sorry, you guys must say the ends. Yeah, I'm lost.
So it's the corner drive in that Chamira from, and the last end was the golf course end.
The golf course end. There we go. Okay, I've got it.
How I know the difference is if you see the stand in the background, then you're probably on the cornet drive end, and
the
other side is not the cornet drive end.
So the golf course is behind that main stand.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. I got it. Okay. Yes,
the trees. That makes sense.
Algar is still on 39. He's faced 2 deliveries from Chamira for no run. There's some changes in the field now. Square leg goes out to the boundary. Fine leg is going a bit finer. 2 slips, gully and a backward point. Dean Algar is facing the right arm over the wicket now on off stump, defended by Dean to cover for no run. 48 for 1 is still the score. South Africa trail by 109.
Quick question. How do we come up with names for ends? With Wanderers, it's the road and there's a golf course, so that's pretty straightforward. But I mean, the duck pond end, I think that's not Super Sport Park.
That's Port Elizabeth, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Do you guys know where these names come from?
No, I do not. Maybe our Gorilla Universe can let us know on Gorilla at GUERILLASA the names behind the famous ends in world cricket.
This one pulled by Algar off Chamira for a single out to square leg to the boundary. So the bouncer there was the ball that he bowled across the left-hander on a tight off-stump line, but Dean was up for the pull shot there to square leg for a single.
Obviously, we know that most of the cricket grounds, they've got a pavilion end. And then obviously the other end's the one that's very interesting.
Yes, and it's often obviously historic things. So most of the grounds would have one pavilion when they start out hosting cricket matches. And then as time goes by, the whole place gets built up. This is Van der Dussen facing Chamira now. 3 slips and a gully. Wide outside off stump, left alone by Van der Dussen, no run.
We have a local David Midgie here. Just tweeting rather that the current Lions Cricket SA players in the South African squad are Rabada, Bavuma, Van der Dussen, Sipamla, Buren Hendricks, Vian Mulder, and then ... former Lion Quinton de Kock, and also coach Enoch Unkwe was also the former Lions coach. Something he's clearly working in Joburg. #SAV Sri Lanka at Gorilla Cricket SA and at One World Sports Radio, One World SR, in fact. You as a Lions fan, Umpo, is this true? Is this valid?
Over the wicket to Van der Dussen, left alone, no run. Yes.
So this team's, I think, over the past 5 years have won won 3 of the last 5 domestic 4-day trophies, as well as when Enoch Nkwe was there, he won. There was a year where he won everything except the 1-day cup. So won the MSL, he won the 4-day, and he also won the domestic T20. And then obviously before him there was Jeffrey Toyana, who also won trophies at the Wanderers. Remember, even obviously Dwayne Pretorius is in the squad. Chris Morris comes from the Lions as well. He moved over to the Titans.
That's it, Quinton de Kock, yes.
But obviously,
most definitely, they've got things working well at the Lions. We can safely say that.
Yeah, so I think from April now onwards, it's going to be very interesting once the South African domestic season ends, because obviously next year we move over to the expanded 15-province format. So the question is obviously which teams are going to be playing which players are going to be playing for obviously the bigger provinces like Gauteng and Northerns and Western province. But obviously, if there'll be other players playing for the lower, if there'll be any Proteas choosing to play for any other smaller provinces. So that's going to be quite an interesting thing to see.
Do we know why
Fernando has been replaced by Dasun Shanaka. He aborted his first run up there. He's coming in now, right arm over the wicket from the golf course end to Algar. This one is full and on-off stump driven through the covers. They take a single. That will be all for Algar there. He moves to 41. 50 up for South Africa with 1 wicket down.
Yes, Sophie, a question?
Just on that, why is the move being made? Last I checked, we tried to do this before, but that got a lot of fight back from, I think it was the players' unions. So why is it going ahead now?
So the players' union in the beginning, I think 2 years ago, well, at the beginning, like it was early 2020 or late 2019? Said obviously they wouldn't have
around there.
That 70 odd players were going to lose their jobs, because obviously there's that semi-pro level that has all the provincial sides sitting there that feed up to the franchise level. But
Chanaka over the wicket to Van der Dussen on middle and off, defended to mid on, just dribbles down the side of the pitch and no run.
And they complained that it was just a way to save money, and you're essentially retrenching people to save money. And then obviously fast forward to now. Last year, what happened was when obviously Graham and Dave Richardson came in as a consultant for CSA.
Shanaka over the wicket, blocked by Van der Dussen to point, no run.
So when obviously we had Jacques Fall come in as interim CEO, we also had Dave Richardson joining the team to help support them, because obviously Dave Richardson came from the ICC. He was tasked to check this proposal and make a recommendation as to whether there should be any adjustments.
Shanaka on off stump, defended by Van der Dussen, and there's no run. Rassie is getting in behind the ball nicely here, but now that the change bowlers are on, I think he needs to just see if he can get some of these good deliveries past some of the fielders, because if he loses his wicket now, his figures for the series are going to look horrible.
They only batted once, so they will always look horrible. I think South Africa.
Shanaka over the wicket, left alone, outswinger, started too wide, goes even wider, no run.
So then obviously the report that came out this week was that obviously they consulted with the South African Cricketers Association, the players. So that was the one thing that the players complained about. But the problem is that now they are going to give us a system where it's still 15 provinces, similar to what was proposed. I think what was proposed was 12. However, it still means that 75 players lose their jobs. So I'm not too sure as to why, as to how the South African Cricketers Association agreed to this one when this was initially proposed 2 years ago in a similar format. So obviously that will still need a lot of questions to be asked of the interim board once we get that opportunity.
Van der Dussen played this one to square leg for a single, and he's off the mark. 1 of 26. South Africa 51 for 1 after 16 overs. Dean Elgar is on 41 of 49.
Thanks for giving that
That
insight.
is strange. Maybe with the lockdown and everything sort of putting the brakes on all sports, maybe the Players' Union had to sort of look at the lay of the land now, now that there's even less money available, and sort of maybe just go along with what was proposed. I don't know. We'll have to wait for as I always say, we'll have to wait for the autobiographies to come out to see what actually happened. And it is Chamira continuing now to Van der Dussen, and this one is left alone outside off, no run.
The South Africans are moving very nicely, I must say. Yeah, you were saying?
No, so obviously this you will need then to have a broadcast deal that covers this new 15-team format to try to get a little bit more money to the players.
That makes sense. Just a quick few tweets here. We have Anis Mohammed saying that the duck pond inn got its name because there was a little duck pond in the park behind the ground, and the park drive end is the end named after the road that the ground is situated in. And then another tweet from her saying that we said that Centurion was a small ground, however it looks massive compared to St. George's Park or Buffalo Park, even looks bigger than the Wanderers. Is it just trickery of the camera?
Chamira to Van der Dussen, he pulls this down to the fine leg, square leg area for 2 runs, and he's now on 3 of 28. A good shot, short ball there, and punished almost by Van der Dussen, except for some good fielding there in the deep by Sri Lanka. 53 for 1. Yeah, with Supersport Park, it looks a lot bigger on camera because of the grass banks. But when you go to the ground and you sit on one of those grass banks, it feels like you can almost touch the wickets. 53 for 1 from 104. And if you walk out on the field as well, you're surprised at how small it is. Goes through to the keeper for no run. As for the other grounds, I've only ever been to Centurion Park, so I don't know.
The water is very small. And to me, it could be a camera thing, because I think PE and East London look larger than the ones on the Highveld.
Yeah, Wanderers look small because of all the high stands that surround it, and the stands are sort of vertical. They don't go back and at an angle. They all go sort of straight up. If you're looking at the pictures from the Wanderers, Rassie van der Dussen facing Chamira now. As let's see, where's the bowler? Passes the umpire. Outside off stump and no run, left alone by Van der Dussen. 140 kilometers an hour from Chamira, so decent speed, 53 for 1. Carry on, yeah.
As we're chatting about stadiums, you have a tweet here from David Midgie saying, at Cape Fox, has asked the valid question, is there any point in having a stadium announcer when there's no one in the crowd? Hashtag pointless. Hashtag talking to myself. Hashtag, is this thing on?
Yes, that's quite yeah. I was thinking the same thing. Maybe it's just to let all the ground staff know what's going on, all the people who need to move things around and make sure the scoreboards are correct and so on. Chamira in again over the wicket to Van der Dussen. This one is driven by Van der Dussen straight to the man at a wideish mid-off, close in line with the non-strikers crease, no run.
Another tweet from David Midgie on stadiums. Bloem is probably the biggest ground in SA. The Highveld grounds also look smaller when the ball flies further due to altitude. Maybe, eh? Maybe.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. So both Centurion Park and the Wanderers are high-scoring grounds, usually. So that's why we like watching cricket when they're playing out here on the Highveld, because you get reward for your shots. Chamira blocks, Van der Dussen blocks this ball by Chamira straight to mid-off again, and there's no run. So Rassi is looks like his timing is there. His eyes look as if he's seeing the ball quite nicely, but now he's picking out the fielders. So stage number next for him will be to try and work on his placement if he can. But for now, I'll be happy if he just doesn't lose his wicket.
So at the end of that over, I will be I'm done. I think my stint is done. So Simon will be coming through and joining you.
Awesome,
Now there's some discussion here. Yes, Paul. Thank you so much. Okay, cheers. Hello, Simon. You are on mute, Simon.
Mr. Gear, the legend. Welcome.
I think Mpo muted your mic because he was hunting for an echo. How are you, Simon? 17 overs gone, 53 for 1. Van der Dussen on 3 of 32. Algar on 41 or 49.
Simon, just speak to us in sign language. We'll tell the listeners anything you want us to tell them. Just make sure you use those hands.
Yeah, that should be working. Is that not working?
He's back.
There you are.
Cool.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, what are we all variously doing? Are you doing ball by ball? Would you like me to?
I can stay on ball by ball, but I think I'll be glad if you take over.
Okay, I'm happy to do that. And then will one of you guys handle tweets?
I'm sitting pretty on the tweets.
Oh, bananas.
I'm seeing Shanaka bowling his first one, yeah.
Yeah, so Shanaka came in and that was just turned around to the mid wickets and no run. South Africa rather, 53 for 1. Are we? I'm on DSTV, so I'm the one who can actually delay my feed. Do I need to delay it for one of you guys?
No,
right.
You are.
Yeah, if you're
spot
good
on
answer,
with
you're
me.
good with me.
Oh, okay. So right arm over. It's a bit of a bouncer and a jumping catch by Diquello, who does very, very well together. It is given as wide by Adrian Holdstock, and the score moves on by 1, 54 for 1.
Okay, so now you're in front of me. How many balls in the over so far?
That was the third ball of the over.
Yeah, I'm still on the second.
So you need to just
so what
hang
we're going
on
to do
there for
let's
second.
so Chepo, we're going to go with you doing ball by ball, and then I will delay my feed for yours.
Okay, sweet. So Dean Algar just chipped this off the legs to mid wickets for no run. That was the third ball of the over. Right now we have
tweets then.
Oh wait, am I doing ball by ball? Okay.
Yeah, so you do ball by ball just so that we can get all of our feeds together, and then I'll take over ball by ball. So you tell me as the bowler comes
Shanaka's
past.
coming in, and that was a bouncer and Dikwala catches this one right over his head for no. It's a wide ball, in fact. It's the first wide ball given. South Africa sitting on 54 for 1.
And that was the fourth ball of Shanaka's second over.
Well, the third, because the fourth, it didn't count
yes,
as
of
a
course.
ball.
Yes, of course, you're right. Yes.
Yes. Cool. So Shanaka holding the ball, giving it a bit of a shine. Is looking really keen, rearing in, coming from over the wicket. This one goes across. Dean Algar comes off the splice of the bat, one bounce to the slip, to gully, in fact, for no run. And that was the fourth ball. Have I caught up yet? I feel like I'm in the remedial.
What I'm going to ask you for is for the fifth ball of the over, if you can let me know as the bowler comes past the umpire.
Fantastic.
We'll be back on. So the score at the moment, South Africa 49 for 1, chasing Sri Lanka's, what did they end on? 157. So South Africa about 100 behind.
103. Yes, now he's just come, and this one just driven to mid on for no run. So now I'm with you. Fifth ball.
We're all now on the same feed. If Oz used that time to adjust his feed as well, which is all very good. Nakul Pandey tweets us in saying, as though things weren't bad enough, Sri Lanka are now being attacked by crows.
Wow.
Because
check this out.
I think he's we are watching the streaming feed, and so he might be a little bit ahead of us.
No, so what's happened is that a shorter ball there, and it just kept low. And Dean Elgar, it was Van der Dussen came down on it and squeezed it out it was Elgar. Squeezed it out into the offside, no run. So Sri Lanka cricket has tweeted an employee of Sri Lankan cricket has been found COVID positive, and COVID is the family of crows, and has been isolated with immediate effect. I wonder if that's someone in South Africa. That would be quite something if
you're a COVID. You don't want COVID mobilities either out here. Yeah, we have.
The most ridiculous thing is when I read it, I then couldn't remember what we were actually calling the virus. I mean, there's a word that we've said like so many times in the last 12 months, and yet I couldn't remember the word for COVID-19.
Wow.
So it is going to be the beginning of Chamira's fourth over. He's gone for 12 runs so far as he comes in from the call it drive ends, and it is left alone outside the off stump by Rassie van der Dussen. He's on 3 from 33 balls. South Africa 54 for 1.
We have
someone else just do tweets, otherwise I'm going to do nothing but talk.
No, I have the tweets. David Mickey says, we've been lauding the South African umpiring group of Holstock, Erasmus Jele, and Palaka. Someone that you have to feel hard for is Sean George.
Yeah, I mean, I think they basically had a choice of 4 guys. They had a space for 4 guys. Because what is also surprising is that these 2 standing umpires were the same 2 who stood in Centurion. Again, right on, he drags it down, it goes to the leg. You could see it came out of his hand really, really badly. And it landed up being a short gimme to Van der Dussen, who just turns that around the corner, and it runs away very, very quickly for 4. Van der Dussen to 7, and South Africa 58 for 1. They now trail by 99.
Van der Dussen just biding his time, just staying in, finding the middle of the bats, and just waiting for the bad ball to capitalize. And that's exactly what he did here. It looked fantastic as he just turned this for 4 runs. The field didn't stand a chance there at deep, fine leg. So, yeah, fantastic to see Rassie van der Dussen.
Very, very ordinary ball as well, it must be said. It looked like it came out of his hand incorrectly. This time his line is much, much better and just defended by Van der Dussen, and no run. Bowling at 137 k's an hour, so he's getting some pace. But I mean, it does always just feel that the Sri Lankans are that little bit slower, that sort of 5 to 8 kilometers an hour slower than their South African counterparts, and it just makes such a difference in terms of danger. That said, Björn Mulder bowling at 125 k's an hour today, and he took 3 for nothing.
Yeah, Chamira and Shanaka, as we see this one.
So Van der Dussen just facing up again and left outside the off stump, no run.
So Chamira and Shanaka not being able to emulate Asita Fernando, who was excellent for Sri Lanka opening the bowling. And they are nowhere near as accurate as he was. So he was causing real trouble for the South Africans, hitting the same areas, moving the ball into and out away from Markram and then Van der Dussen. So he had Van der Dussen pinned down very nicely. So these 2 have allowed the South Africans to breathe a little bit easier. So it'll be up to the Sri Lankan captain to decide when he wants Asita Fernando back.
Yeah, I mean, he's exciting to see a guy in his debut bowling well. Shorter ball again. Van der Dussen tries to go for the pull. He manages to get it out into the deep at mid-wicket, but someone is hauling it in. And I haven't quite learned the Sri Lankan numbers yet. Number 68, who was that?
And Van der Dussen took 3 runs there. He moves on to 10 or 37 into double figures.
Yeah, excellent running by Van der Dussen, and that's finally getting his innings underway. It took him a long, long time to get going today. Very, very cautious start. But he's also got the best part of, 2.5, 3 days to bat if he wants it. So
exactly.
So opportunity to make 500.
Exactly that. As long as he gets stuck in, and we love to see it when he gets stuck in. Just in terms of umpires, how does one actually become an umpire? Where do they find these umpires? Are they former players?
No. It's I'll explain the process to you right now as Elgar turns this one around the corner. and it just runs down to fine leg, collected up by that looks like Asmuth actually, and they go through for a single, 62 for 1. So anyone can become an umpire. You just go and write your level 1 exam, which is very, I wouldn't say simple, but anyone who's played the game, and then you have to go to 3 or 4 evenings of lectures for it, and then you write the exam, and it's a sort of open book exam with a little blue law book in front of you. That gets you your level 1, and you're then able to start umpiring at club level within your franchise area. So I umpire in the Gauteng area, and you'll start off umpiring, Saturday 3 or one of those, a fuller ball by Shanaka, who now starts his third over, played into the onside and no run. And then it's just a matter of progressing up the ranks. You look, to be honest, if you're over 40, your time is gone. You'd be really hard pressed to get up the ranks fast enough to be able to finally get up to Test match cricket. Someone who makes it into first class cricket in South Africa has probably been umpiring Premier League on a Sunday for 5 or 6 years at a minimum, I would have thought. But the younger guys get progressed faster. Women are beginning to get progressed faster as well. And look, if you came in as a first-class player or an ex-Test player, of course you would probably start at
a higher level,
at Premier level, yeah. And that would then fast track you up. But you get every single match that you umpire. Both captains submit a form back to the union, marking you on how you've done, and all of those sort of things are collated over time. Right arm around the wicket now to the left-hander. Oh, he squeezes one out of the inside edge. I think probably through his legs to Dean Elgar. What did we decide? I know we no longer call inside. We no longer call the delivery a Chinaman. Do we still call that a Chinese cut?
I don't remember what we did come up with a name.
Yeah,
I don't recall what exactly that was.
It was a Vatican slice. I seem to remember.
A Vatican slice. Yes.
Yes. There we go.
Yes.
Yo.
For no real reason. Left-handed Elgar again. He has a bit of a slash at it. Ooh, plays and misses. Shanaka is getting under Dean Elgar's skin here a little bit. None of these balls are looking threatening. Yeah. But I think Elgar's a bit of a brain fade.
Yeah, Elgar indicating there that he wanted to play that up and over the fielders on the offside behind square, but he was a bit late on the shot. Maybe beaten a little bit for pace surprise there.
Yeah, I mean, the only good thing about him not concentrating there is he wasn't even concentrating enough to hit it. Good ball pitched up now, and he just defends it out into mid-off and no run. South Africa 64 for 1.
We don't want to see those shots from Elgar now. As the trail, South Africa trail now by 93. So they just need to bat out the rest of the day, Elgar and Van der Dussen. Just to see if they can get into the fifth bowler here. As we see the next one coming in.
He's coming in again, right on around the wicket, just angling it in to Elgar, who defends it. And that is the end of the over, 64 for 1. Shanaka finishes that over, no wicket for 5 runs. Elgar's on 44, Van der Dussen on 10.
So good economical bowling by Shanaka so far. Only 5 runs conceded in 3 overs. So another good tick box check there for Sri Lanka, with at least 2 of their bowlers looking, one very dangerous in Asita Fernando, and the other one very economical in Shanaka. So not entirely too bad. In terms of runs per over in this session, it's been 2.8 runs per over, with the wicket of Markram of 15 overs and 42 runs scored by South Africa since lunch.
Yeah, it's been a solid start by South Africa, just losing Markram along the way, but generally looking okay. Start of the new over, Chimera really steaming in. He's really running in well, but left outside the off stump easily by Van der Dussen, no run.
Okay, so we still have 64 for 1.
From David Mitch. We have quite a few tweets, in fact. Oh, wow. my
Excellent.
refresh
Take us through the
not.
tweets.
Oh, sweet. Let me just quickly find where I was. We've been loading the umpires. As Sri Lanka lead, as the Sri Lankan lead drops below 100, 193 at the moment, do you see that they may be some late drama in the first day's play? That's actually a good question. Depends on the ball, eh? If you ask me,
I sort of get the sense that the drama will have to be created by the South Africans shooting themselves in the foot, defended it back to the bowler, no run by Rassie van der Dussen. So let me tell you a little bit about Adrian Holstock. You were asking about where umpires come from.
yes.
He actually played for Western Province for 4 years, between 89 and 93, and then played for Boerland from 93 to 95, and after that he took up umpiring. So if you think he started umpiring, let's say he finished playing in 95, so let's say he started umpiring in 96. He only made his List A debut 10 years later in 2006, and his first class debut the next year in 2007. So it's a long trip up the ladder. A shorter ball and just hooked around by Van der Dussen, didn't really get over it very much, indicated by Maria Erasmus as the one for the over, and it was actually Holstock at square leg, indicating one bouncer for the over, and they go through. I think they just got the single there. But so if you think about it, so he's assuming he started umpiring in 96. It took him 10 years to umpire his first List A, and bearing in mind this guy had played at List A level and at first class level, and it then took him, after that, it was only 2011 that he made his international T20 debut. So that's another 4 years on, and then another 9 years before he made his Test debut. And he wouldn't have made his Test debut if it wasn't for COVID. So you can see the length of time and the number of hours that you have to spend in the middle is phenomenal. Played directly back down the ground. There's never anyone there. It's the perfect shot. Full face of the bat, just punched it, and that runs away for 4. Elgar to 48 now, 63. South Africa 69 for 1.
Nice off drive, straight drive there, just to the offside of the non-strikers' wickets for the left-handed batsman. So just to the other side of the wickets where the right-hand over bowler bowled that from, and that is as close to straight as you can get, because any straighter you'll hit the wickets on the other end. Great shot there by Elgar. Just a bit. So we see the next one.
Just laid into the offside, no run. Do you want to carry on?
Let's look at the field. 2 slips, a gully, and then covers and mid-off for Elgar facing Chamera. And Chamera is quite expensive now in his 5th over. He's conceded 25 already without taking a wicket. So him and Vishwa Fernando have been, you could say, the weaker links in the Sri Lankan attack, with Shanaka and Asita Fernando doing a great job here for Sri Lanka. It looks like we might have a drinks break after the next ball, which is the last one of the over.
Last ball of Chamera's 5th over turned into the onside. They're going to jog through for an agreed single, and drinks come on.
Oh, they're getting Sterry Stumpies.
Oh, they do, aren't they? How about that? Chocolate Sterry Stumpies are on the menu.
That's
winning.
But while we're in the
nice
break, let's quickly run through some of these tweets here. We have another tweet from Anis Mohammed saying that's at Gorilla Cricket SA. So 15 teams, 2 divisions with a promotion relegation deal is how the 15-team system is going to work. So which of the minnow teams will you guys be supporting? Kind of like me being a Sharks fan, but I'm super happy when the Pumas do well, unless they're playing the Sharks. How do you support the Sharks? You should do better than that. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, I mean,
another one.
Well, no, hold on. Let's handle it each tweet as they come.
Tweet. Okay, no rush.
I mean, I'm not. I was always a Transvaal, fan back in the day when I was little, but didn't really translate that up into supporting a team as I became an adult. Probably, if anything, I probably support the Dolphins if I'm really sort of pushed to it. But in terms of the minnow teams, I'm not even sure where are they getting 15 teams from. And we've only got 9 provinces.
Yeah, but isn't
Lesotho and Eswatini getting a chance as well?
Possibly.
Yeah, but it's like what? Yeah, no,
I was assuming that it's the same thing that happens with interprovincial. I used to play hockey, and interprovincial tournaments, you wouldn't just have Gauteng, you'd have northern Gauteng, southern Gauteng,
yes.
and then easterns. Then you'd have inlands and coastals for the KZN coast.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what I'm assuming is going to happen. So if it was for me, I'd probably support North Gauteng number 1. You know, hometown glory, Super Sport Park, and then a minnow team. If there's a team from Limpopo, I'd love to support them just to get some more Limpopo people involved in cricket. But I don't know what the teams are.
Yeah,
same goes for me, eh? Pretoria, and then I'll probably look to the north. Yeah.
I've never quite got to the bottom of how it is that 75 players are going to lose their professional contracts, even though the teams are growing from 6 to 15. I don't understand how that works at all.
This was in one of Paul's podcasts. It's because the first division, that's one level below, actually has if you counted the 6 franchises plus all those teams together, that's where you get to a number. And when you if we see the replay here, sorry. So if you take that number of players and you take the number of players that are going to be playing in these new franchise systems, then that's where the 70 players lose their positions.
Okay, so it's all those semi-pro guys who play 3-day cricket are the guys actually going to fall away. It must be a very strange experience playing cricket at that level, that 3-day cricket level, because I mean you're basically having to live the life of a professional sportsman, but you're playing not even in the stadiums. I mean you're often playing on club grounds. You're playing on some of the best club grounds, but you're playing on club grounds, and the pressure is on you there, because you have a bad season and you'll drop out of cricket entirely. If you have a bad season at test match level, the worst that happens is you go down to down to list A or first class level. And
you're almost a household name, even if you've played just 2 or 3 matches. And I've heard some of the guys say that some of the players commenting that that's actually more pressure than playing at the top level, because all people see are your figures as we watch this.
Wide outside the off stump, and Elgar chased it a little bit. He's on 49 now, and he's not looked great the last 2 or 3 overs, has he? He's looked like he's ready to edge it at any moment. Just doesn't look mentally.
He certainly tried. He tried to edge that one, and he's practiced the leave after that delivery. So
you still have quite a few
not ideal.
Sorry. Okay, but I do like to take them one at a time. So keep going.
Oh yes. Okay, so speaking of, we have one quick feature from
Hold on, let me take this ball left arm around the wicket and again left alone. Carry on.
From Chris TV saying, "Small world, Guerrilla Crickets. My sister says she knows me, Tepo, from Wits." And I said, look, I mean, I've been at Wits for a very long time, so chances are she probably does know me.
Who is this?
This is Chris TB. I'll find out who his sister is eventually. And David Midgie says...
she'll be easy to spot because her surname will be tuberculosis.
TB.
Saraka comes in again, left arm around, angling into to Elgar, who just defends into the offside, no run.
You'd see her; she'd be wearing masks before everyone does. She was ahead of the curve for 7 years. But jokes aside, and then we have David also replying. Funny thing, I actually don't know your sister at all, and it's probably better that way. Lucky her, says Chris TV. So we had a little shade there. That was a close one. And
played and missed again by Elgar. A good one in the channel. And Dustin Shanaka just looks to the heavens and thinks, what does he need to do to get an edge here?
No, he's bowling around the wicket as a right-hander to Elgar. Yes, go ahead.
Another tweet, speaking of umpires, name me a better pair of umpires that aren't Lauren Achenbach and Bongani Jele. ... Exactly. they don't exist. Funny enough, I actually went to school, to primary school with Lauren Achenbach. We used to play lots of cricket together. Yeah.
I bet you she took herself very, very seriously at school. We interviewed her once.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, no, well, you tell me. Okay, let's look at Shanaka first. Driven out into the offside. This makes it through the ring and looks like it's going to run all the way away down to the boundary. It does indeed. Dean Elgar goes to his 53 now, and South Africa 74 for 1. I'll let one of you guys, Oz, hopefully you can give us the numbers.
I can do that. Dean Elgar is on 53 of 71 deliveries here. I might be a little bit ahead of the feed that we are watching. 71 balls, 9 fours, strike rate of 74.65, and 16th test 50 for Dean Elgar. He needs to convert this today for us.
Yeah, he needs to click back into his role here. That was a good shot. He leaves this one alone outside the off stump, and I think just resetting his mind. Carry on, Chapel. Oh, yeah, sorry, you were telling us about what Lauren was like at school.
Oh, well, I was in primary school with her. So when she's a year younger than me, and her brother was a year older than me, but we were in the same grade. And yeah, they'd been playing cricket since they were probably in nappies. I was always at their house. Didn't take life too seriously. We were always joking around, always enjoyed going to cricket with them. Actually, I must give them a young shout out. I must actually. But in terms of how serious she was in school, she didn't really seem that serious, but this was primary school. But she was always a team player and always playing cricket and always taking on people, not like aggressively, just like with cricket. You know, she let the ball do the talking. So yeah, she was really cool as well. Like
I like her already.
Yeah,
we commentated her very first ODI at Newlands, and there was a fair degree of skepticism, not only in the commentary box, but within the general umpiring community, because she was fast tracked. I mean, she went from not umpiring at all to umpiring an international within a few years. As Vishwa Fernando is going to start his 7th over, and he bowls one onto the leg stump of Rassie van der Dussen, who just punches it through mid-wicket. It is going to be chased down just before the boundary, and some double fielding goes on, and they come through for 3 runs, 77 for 1. Van der Dussen goes on to 14 of his 41. But Lauren Achenbach had a very, very tough decision to make in the first sort of 10 to 15 overs of that ODI that she debuted on. I can't remember exactly what the deal was, but she got the decision 100% right. And from then on, I think everyone just realized, okay, no, she clearly knows what she's doing.
Respect on her name. Yeah, no. Lalu was her name, or at least that's what her brother called her. Because
Lalu. We're never going to call her anything else ever again.
Don't do that.
And again, left arm over, jags away outside the off stump of Dean Elgar, and he just lets us go through to the keeper, no run.
Now, partnership now is 43 runs from 90 balls. So this is going to be key for South Africa, stringing those partnerships together as they did in Centurion, if they want to bat once in this game as well. I'll let you carry on with the tweets now, Chipple.
We have quite a few tweets. We have another one saying, wait a second. At Gorilla Cricket SA from Josie Oak, wasn't Erasmus a medium fast bowler? Does anyone remember him? Was he not a lot thinner then? Probably, eh?
He probably was. Chris TB was mentioning that he had played earlier. And I'll bring him up, and we'll see what he did as a player back in the day. He went to DF Milan High School and Paul Teachers Training College, and then Stellenbosch. So he's very much a boykie from down in that part of the southwest corner of the world. 53 first-class matches and 54 list A's.
Interesting.
Defended into the offside, no run. Batted an average of 29 in first class, and he has got a first class 100, and was very much
29 average in those days would have been phenomenal.
Yeah, and his bowling average was 28, 131 wickets, best of 6 for 22. So
not bad at all. Wow.
Yeah, he played from 89 to 97. So in fact, he was still playing long after Adrian Holstock had quit. So they're about the same sort of age. They don't look it, do they? Shorter ball and defended into the offside, no run.
Another tweet here from Umpo, your friendly neighborhood sports guy. Currently, you have 6 franchises, 13 provinces, which is about 290 players, 15 per team. In the new system, you'll only have 15 provinces, which is 225 players in the new system. So effectively, you lose 6 teams worth of players. So they're putting the franchise and the provinces together. I see.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you listen to Umpo's podcasts on One World Sports Radio YouTube channel, you will know these things.
Yeah, defended into the offside, no run. I mean, I'm sort of with CSA on this one. I think if you are the 300th ranked cricketer in the country, I mean, you're never going to play for one of the big franchises. You're a very good player, make no mistake, but unfortunately, there's probably not a space for you in professional sport or professional cricket, and the same would be true of just about any other sport in South Africa.
I would also support that because, with the view to transformation, you've got to cast the net as wide as you can, and you've got to give. If you identify talent, you've got to give. Watch this ball.
Shorter ball outside the off stump as Shanaka starts his 5th over, defended into the offside, no run.
So you want to see guys playing against the top quality players. If you have a batsman that you've identified as a emerging talent, doesn't matter where the batsman comes from, you're only going to see how good they really are when they start playing against the best players. So I think from that point of view, I'll agree with CSA.
Although what you've just described is a great argument for having 6 franchises left outside the off stump.
Yes,
no run.
but there's less room for more players.
Maybe what they needed was just fewer of the second tier. Why not just have 6 second tier teams instead of the 13 or whatever it was that we had, and 6 franchises, and have a rotational promotion relegation? I think 7 and 8 is probably excessive. Elgar facing up again. This time he does drive a little bit, doesn't really get hold of it, and mid-off is going to collect, no run. South Africa 78 for 1.
Yeah, so I think from that point of view, you've got the big franchises, and they will probably be split up into 2 or 3 different teams in this. That as far as their player development and all that sort of thing goes. Is this only for the 4-day tournament, or is this going to be ODIs and T20s as well?
You mean list A, rather than ODIs. Left outside the off stump, no run.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I would imagine this will be first
list
class
A, first class, list A, and then domestic T20.
Yeah, they probably will have a T20 competition. I mean, as I
when you want to build your teams for the Mzansi Super League or whatever they're going to call it, you want to have those depth of players in your squad and know that they've faced quality opposition before you call them up for those big tournaments, you could say. Yeah. But we'll see.
Ball that jags back a little bit to Dean Elgar, but he defends it and no run. Very good example there of that ball was 124 k's an hour. If that ball had been 10 k's an hour faster, which at 134 is not, it's not lightning, but it would have had a far greater chance of catching Elgar out. As it was, Elgar was able to play it off the pitch, as it were, and adjust his shot to deal with the jag back.
Ooh. Now Shanaka is bowling well here to Elgar.
He is indeed, again, just angling it in outside half of the bat by Dean Elgar. So played with soft hands. It's going to dribble all the way down to the third man boundary. He's going to get a slightly fortuitous 4, but I think he played it well with soft hands. Kusal Mendes, the man who was diving down to try and collect that ball. And Elgar goes on to 58 off 79. South Africa 82 for 1 at the end of that over.
Shanaka 5 overs, 13 runs. Doing a really good job bowling around the wicket at Dean Elgar. More tweets.
We have another one from David Midgie saying they're not at the game, if you're wondering, broadcasting from Auckland Park. And this was a reply. This was a reply to Josie Oak asking about Radio 2000, asking if
Yeah.
they're doing comps.
I don't understand why Radio 2000 don't set themselves up at the stadium. It's really, really odd.
Yeah, that is odd. I mean, it's a quality, like it's a radio station, an established radio station. No offense to One World Sports, but you can't get that. Can you get that on like normal radio? Like, can I just?
No,
it's
no, you
online.
can't. Yeah.
No, it's tragic.
Full of ball and just defended back by Van der Dussen for a moment there. I thought it had snuck through and hit his pad. There would have been a huge shot if it had been. So in fact, I can tell you exactly why Radio 2000 don't go to the ground. They don't want, we broadcast straight onto the net, and that's how you get it. They would have to take the feed back to Auckland Park and then broadcast it out on their transmitters, or have a mobile transmission van. And both of those things cost way, way, way more than your team of six commentators. Played off the back foot, just punched through the offside. It's going to be a chase to the boundary here. Will the debutant? It's not. It's Kusal Pereira again, or one of the Kusals, who collects it, and he just fires it back. It was Pereira, yeah. So they run through again for 3. That's the third 3 of his innings, I think, for Rassie van der Dussen.
Yeah, actually,
probably
51. 51-run partnership up for South Africa, a second wicket. And we'll get you the numbers there. The partnership so far is 51 runs off 17 overs at a run rate of 2.97. So good stuff here from Van der Dussen and Algar. They're not facing the world's best attack, but the Sri Lankans, at least 2 of their bowlers have had some assistance from the wicket. That's from 102 balls, by the way. And so batting has not been easy, but good stuff here for South Africa by these 2.
No, I've got to do what you got to do.
By Dean Elgar and no runs, South Africa 85 for 1.
Tepo, carry on.
Some more tweets. Another one from Anissa Mohammed. You're talking about the 15-team franchise. So to get 15 teams, the current teams would have to be combined and probably split. So the Cape Cobras would go back to being Western Province, Borderlands, and SWD. Warriors go to Eastern Province and Border. Knights go to Griquas and the Free State. And Titans go to Northerns and Easterns.
Yeah, so, exactly what's going to happen. Did the Easterns get swallowed up by Northerns, or were they swallowed up by Gauteng back in the day? This is played out into the leg side by Dean Elgar, and they're going to take 2. He goes to 60. South Africa 87 for 1. I remember when they signed the death knell for Easterns. Ironically, it was the season that Easterns won the first class competition.
Oh, tragic!
And that's why the Titans play at Benoni, isn't it?
They play at what's that stadium called? We've actually umpired. We've commentated there quite a lot. Yeah. Yes, Willowmore Park. Yes. Left alone outside the off stump, no run. Look, I mean, I trust the guys, particularly Dave Richardson, who led up wasn't a commission of inquiry. What would you call that? Advisory committee or something like that. I completely trust Dave Richardson to have looked at the problem properly and the financial implications and the cricket implications and everything else, and got the decision right. So I'm sure that it'll obviously spark some debate, but I'm sure it'll work out well. A bit of a bouncer way over his head. I wouldn't be surprised if this is called wide by the umpire. It is indeed. Maria Rasmus shows 1 for the over and spreads his arms wide. He is incidentally 56 to Adrian Holstock's 50. I said earlier that they were about the same age, but they're not.
That's not
okay. So he managed to extend his career in his beyond what Adrian Holstock was able to do.
Yeah, so he played quite a lot more cricket than Holstock, and then probably started. Well, he started umpiring a little bit later as well. Obviously, made a better time of it. Once you start progressing, you really have to spend a lot of time. That last one, by the way, just kept it a little bit low, and Elgar clamped down on it. It's beginning to be some indication of variable bounce in this pitch on this first day, which is mildly concerning, I think, for the Sri Lankans, certainly. If they're gonna have to come back out and bat sometime during tomorrow. Second wicket partnership of 54. What were we talking about? Once you start wanting to progress as an umpire, and particularly once you get to that first class level, I mean, you really have to commit to it. And I think it becomes quite difficult to hold down any job that's not teaching, pretty much. Unless you're a sort of independent consultant. In fact, you and I, Oz, would be very, very good at being able to work our lives around being an umpire, I suspect. Every now and again, our clients would wonder why we'd disappeared from Thursday to Sunday. To say nothing of your wife.
No, I am employed full time. By the way, I'm just on leave at the moment.
Oh, right. Okay, I thought you were still a consultant. We started a new over. Shanaka coming in, defended into the offside, no run. Chepo, give us tweets.
Just one from Umpo saying that the 8 teams in the first division will play the 4-day, the 1-day cup, and the T20s, with the second division teams playing just the 4-day and the 1-day cup. Second division players will also be eligible for the MSL. And that was just talking about how people are going to be distributed with this new system. I must say, I'm very curious about how it's going to transpire, all the speed bumps that we're going to have to face. That could be just for interesting watching, watching.
Defended into the offside, no run. How do you select someone out of the second division? I mean, because you're not comparing like for like. I mean, you can't take someone's Premier League, I'm talking about Premier League cricket here, stats, and then use them, he's got an average of 65 on Sunday Premier League, and select him to the test match side on that basis. Right arm over, just fended back down the pitch and no run. Although that said, I mean, you do get guys who play second-tier county cricket who get elevated, don't they? Players.
And then on that point as well, I would emulate the IPL and have a rookie or an inexperienced player, where they have those rules that the player must be of younger than a certain age, and with a certain maximum amount of matches played at a certain level. That could work.
Yeah, again, just defended off the back foot by Rassie van der Dussen, and no run, 88 for 1.
I think it's
so you sort of also get the guys to give the young players or the upcoming players a chance.
Yeah, I mean,
if all the teams have to do it, then we'll see.
Yeah, I haven't been made aware of any rules like that, other than the ones that govern the equity part of South African cricket. How many overs are expected to? Minimum of 21 overs left in the day. That's a lot of cricket still to play. What about 45 minutes
left?
We shut off at 5:30 regardless.
We'll see.
Yeah, we did it.
We usually do.
Yeah, we did at Centurion. There's so much sunshine at this time of time of the year. Although the stadium does look like it's in shade at the moment. You got more tweets, Chepo?
Nope, we got all the tweets we made.
Cool. We've got ourselves back up to speed. So please do tweet us at GorillaSA, GUERILLASA, left outside the off stump, Shanaka getting to jag away from the right-hander a bit. And Van der Dussen continues his watchful innings. He scored just 17 off 52 balls. Elgar's there on 60 off 83. And South Africa, 88 for 1. 2 fat ladies, 88. And
Shanaka, Shanaka is bowling to his field really well. He had a packed offside field when he was bowling to Dean Elgar, and he's got the same setup he had the same setup in that over for the right-hander for Van der Dussen. So he's keeping it outside off stump. He's trying to make the batsman play, and when the batsmen do make contact, they find the fielders. So he's really sticking to the plans here, is Shanaka, and that shows in his bowling figures.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it does indeed, and he's been rather parsimonious. Over this is wide outside the off stump. It kept low, but again, because of the slower pace, Dean Elgar was able to adjust to the ball and play a rather crouching slap of a cut away for 4. He goes to 64, South Africa 92 for 1.
We just got another tweet here from Josie Oak asking, how are the games going to be commentated on or televised? The BBC now commentates on all the county matches. So, Simon, are we going to have One World Sports Radio up and running for all these games?
So I'll tell you, exactly what the plan is there, is that a lot of those games are going to be covered by a group called Pitch Vision. As Fernando comes left arm over, this is squeezed down the leg side. I'm not sure whether Elgar got anything on that. No, it's given as buys by Maria Erasmus, and irritating to the keeper there. De Quella looking grumpy, and South Africa gone to 96 for 1. Leg side buys.
I would be too if I were Sri Lanka's bowling coach, because that slid out of his hand, slid out of his hands as he tried to, it looks like he tried to bowl a bit of a cutter, but he just sprayed it wide of Algar's leg stump, or wide of Algar's legs for 4.
Left outside the off stump and no run. Yeah, so Pitch Vision is the sort of second tier to mainstream TV in South Africa. They're actually a bunch who bring in some, I think they're Indian manufactured cameras that are designed for coaching purposes. So you're supposed to set up these at matches if you're a professional team, but certainly in your nets for senior clubs and so on. And you can then replay over the course of the season, for example, every ball that a particular batsman has faced, either in the nets or in a match. Defended into the offside by Dean Elgar and no run. So that they brought in these systems, and they've discovered that you can actually use them for broadcast purposes as well. So they set up a very basic setup, about 6 cameras, 2 looking straight down the pitch from either end, and a couple square on, and 1 roving camera that can be panned. And up until now, they've had no commentary whatsoever. They've just produced the ambient sound from the ground as Fernando comes in and again sprays it down the leg side. This time, De Quella is able to get round and stop the blushes of another 4 buys. So you can see where this is going. We went and had a meeting with the chaps from Pitch Vision, and we debuted our commentary team on the Pitch Vision platform. I
remember the women's
it was actually before that. It was the internal game between England's Reds and England's Blues at Newlands and at Paarl, sort of early November or mid-November. And we went into the commentary for that. That was actually a contract with the England Cricket Board. So a bouncer by Fernando, not particularly vicious, 128 k's an hour. And Dean Elgar, I think, was actually through with the pull before it arrived and ended up wearing one on the shoulder. He looks bashful about it, to be honest. And that's the end of that over. So we provided then commentary services to He was through his shot even before the ball arrived, and they hit him on the left bicep, which for the right-hander, for the left-hander, is his back arm as he was running around that pull. And then we did the Mpho and James and Chris TV did the women's, what do they call it, the WSL, the Women's Super League, that 3-day T20 competition. So they went and did that, also with Pitch Vision. We're now looking at the possibility of doing the Pakistan woman versus South African woman tour at the end of this month. That'll be very, very exciting. And the long-term plan is for us to provide commentary to a domestic 4-day competition. The problem is just trying to persuade CSA that there is a certain minimum of money that needs to be paid for guys to be prepared to give up 4 days of their week to do it. I mean, we'd really have to look at guys who are prepared to do it as a sort of semi-permanent job. Asita Fernando now to continue from the which end is he bowling? He's bowling from the golf course end. It's a shorter ball. It just sits up under distance, slaps it through to the leg side. Very, very easy shot, and not a great start to his second spell here. Fernando goes away for 4, 1 for 18 off 7.1 overs. And South Africa, that brings up 100 for South Africa. I'm just waiting to see exactly what the score was. Is it 100 exactly? I think it is.
Yep, in 27.2 overs. 27.1 overs was the 100. And at a run rate of 3.63.
it defended off the back foot and no run. This time Fernando just finding his length a little bit better and pitching it up somewhat. So 100 for 1. Elga's there on 64, Van der Dussen on 21, and just looking very, very comfortable at the moment. But Dean Elgar for a while went through that bit of a wobble when he was just shy of his 50 and maybe to slightly past his 50. But both of these batsmen now looking very, very comfortable indeed.
So we have a few tweets coming in. We have one from AB after this.
Okay, as Fernando in again, short of a length, left outside the off stump, no run.
Just
some shape there by Asita Fernando. Let's go, yeah. Tweets.
Sorry about that. Just got another par and century at the Wanderers. This RV. Oh, RV. I see. Oh, these strange words. Now listening to Gorilla Cricket SA, hoping for more centuries for #Protea Fire. Just in time, AB.
What the hell does he mean that he got a par and a century? Did he get one par through the 18 holes? Also went in for over 100.
Yes.
Okay, which sort of sounds like how I used to play golf.
Someone explain to me what all this means. What is a century? I know what par is. But what is
okay? So he's hit 100.
Par on most, so he's played 100 or more shots. So par on most full-size golf courses is 72, or certainly on the ones that the pros play. And so if you can score less than 100 as an amateur golfer or a part-time golfer, that's quite an achievement.
I don't think I ever broke 100. I think I got to about 105 once or twice, but I just find putting tiresome. I'd be very into golf if the ball was the size, if the hole was the size of a bucket, and there was no putting, it was just chipping. That'd be cool. Left outside the off stump, no run.
Asita Fernando getting some nice shape again, so he's still dangerous here for Sri Lanka. Although that first ball of his over was a bit loose and got punished, but back to his miserly best is the debutant now. One ball to come in his over.
Still on 100 for 1 and trailing by 57 now. South Africa should probably make this par by the end of the play today. Actually, probably not. They'd have to score a run a minute to get to 157 by the end of the day. Left outside the off stump, no run.
There's no need to rush either at the end of the over here. South Africa is still on 100 for 1. I think it's about that diligent innings, just staying in, getting in and staying in. So the Rassie van der Dussen sitting on 21 now. We obviously want him to crack at least a half century just to get those stats up. And Algar, he owes us a century. He really does. I mean, how do you go out on 95? You're better than that. So, hopefully the South Africans can just stay in. It's about not losing any wickets. We have so much time on our hands. There's no rush at all. I mean, the first innings ended before tea. So there's no need to rush to get the par score by the end of the day. Just face it tomorrow, in my opinion.
Yeah, so some interesting stats here.
Karen?
Algar and Van der Dussen, 99 dots, 11 singles, 4 twos, 3 threes, 8 fours, and 6 extras, 66 off 120-something balls. I didn't catch that exactly.
All of those threes accrued to Rassie van der Dussen. Can we, from that, ascertain that he's not hitting it very cleanly?
Maybe, eh?
Left outside the stump, a very small hint of Marnus Labuschagne there in the way that he left that. Bit of a pose after he had left it, and a kick of the hind leg.
Marnus was copying this guy. That's what he was doing, bro.
Marnus was copying his best buddy, Steve Smith.
Yeah.
There's no way Dean Elgar has ever had any aspect of his play copied by anyone except someone who really wants to be the classic nuggety opening batsman.
So let's see what Fernando does here.
Again, left outside the off stump and no run. I could just plug in a plug and play app to be doing my job.
A loop pedal. Yeah, a loop pedal.
This is a little bit what doing weather forecast for Joburg in July is like.
Yes. Yeah, partly cloudy and warm with a chance of thunder showers in the afternoon.
Yeah, In January, maybe. July, clear skies, cold in the morning. Have a nice day.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, but Andy Oak saying at Gorilla Cricket SA, pitch vision commentary sounds good, but what is the cost structure apart from trying to get Cricket SA to pay? Is it going to be behind a paywall?
I will answer that in a moment. Shorter ball, Elgar just rocks back fairly easily, plays that safely through between gully and point, I think, and that went away for 4. Really nice, easy shot. Elgar is going to go on to 68 now, and the total to 104 for 1. Yeah, no, it'll be free. It'll be on the YouTube structure, the YouTube channel, and at the moment, the contract, certainly with the suppliers, is that CSA just pays. But CSA need to get a setup where they get one of their headline sponsors to include this as a line item in what they pay for, so that we're not fighting every single game or every single tournament to extract budget out of. I think we're probably lying in the marketing budget or something ridiculous like that. It's a begrudging purchase by CSA at the moment. Not that a wider ball, and Dean Elgar has a bit of a flash at it. It gets the inside edge and it comes back onto his feet. Could have gone anywhere. That so easily could have landed up on his stumps. A little bit of luck was opening batsman.
That was too wide. Elgar should have left that on width, but given his excellent cut shot earlier in the over, I thought he might want to emulate that, but it just didn't bounce as high as he thought it would and caught the inside edge onto his feet. Yes, misses the stumps. Vishwa Fernando is asking why 104 for 1.
This one is worked away, and they are going to just trot through for a single. Elgar goes to 69. Van der Dussen stays on 21. 105 for 1 now with 1 ball remaining in Fernando's 10th over. He's 0 for 40 at the moment.
No, so he's bringing back his figures as well. Also got the packed offside field, and in this spell, the second over of his spell, he's been keeping the line outside off stump, which means that it was just that well-timed, well-played cut shot by Elgar that found the boundary. He comes in now.
And decides that he's unhappy with something.
Practice run-up.
Yeah.
Van der Dussen isn't ready to face, so they're waiting on something.
There's no excuses. I mean,
run up around the wicket.
Can't be someone walking in front of the side screen. Now Van der Dussen's marching up to do a bit of gardening. Flick something off.
Picking up something off. Throwing something away there.
From Chris TB. I think I shot 80 once. Do I get to be on One World Sports Radio Golf Experts until someone actually good comes along?
Is this Chris TB saying that he could be?
It's Chris TB, yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know. Left outside the off stump, by the way, and no run. That is... Where's Van der Dussen going now?
I don't know.
Looks like changing over. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, so was Chris saying that he gets to be the expert on golf based on A.B. Muller's century?
I think he's asking.
I mean, he's welcome to be. We're not going to ever broadcast any golf. Golf is bad enough to play without actually having to have someone drone on about it.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I only sort of get into the Ryder Cup when it comes to golf. Anyone that doesn't understand golf and wants a good place to start, just watch the Ryder Cup when you get a chance. That is some exciting golf.
I'm willing to watch the Ryder Cup when they play in Europe, but when they play in America and they've all those bloody American fans yelling, "Get in the hole!" and chanting USA, I just find it tiresome.
That's all for the fans. Another tweet here from.
I must say, I also don't watch a lot of golf.
Yeah, I watch the last day of the British Open. I'll probably watch the last day of Augusta if I happen to be up. But beyond that, no, not really. Sorry, carry on.
Tweet here from Jeff Perkins saying,
I'm having some issues with my feed here, if you don't mind. Excuse me for a few seconds.
We'll carry on, yeah?
Okay.
Okay, let me give this ball and then you can tell us what Jeff Perkins has to say. Full defended into the offside, goes to point from Dean Elgar's bat and no run.
Sorry about that. This needs a proper delivery. So at Gorilla SA, surely Cricket SA would use their equipment budgets if they wanted to acquire some new gear. Ah, ah,
Jeez, Jeff.
ah.
I've missed Jeff Perkins. I haven't heard from him for about a year because of all the lockdown shenanigans.
Oh, Jeff, that was hilarious. That is dad joke quality, my man. I'm keeping that one. I have to write that down. Just a bit of bad.
As Fernando comes in again, and it's geez, I thought that was a catch. It actually
Is it?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was played on the bounce, but a very very good diving stop by Minod, the debutant, and he played right. And a good dive to his left at point, taking it with both hands, goalkeeper style, and no run.
That was very athletic. That's the type of chutzpah we want to see from the Sri Lankans. Don't just roll over. The game is still afoot. And
that was right on a prepared pitch as well. You can imagine how sore that was to make that dive. Sure. Here comes Fernando in again. Oh, he shapes for the pull, but then bails out of it. Probably a good idea. It was actually outside the off stump. Could have very easily landed up getting a top edge. And Elgar survives another one, 69 off 97. 8.3 overs gone in Fernando's bowling. He's sort of 1.5 overs into a new spell here. And South Africa 105 for 1.
Yet another tweet here not another one from Pirate Basha. This is the first one. I sympathize greatly with Simon's view of golf. Quite apart from anything else, it sucks up far too much land here in Dublin.
Played into the offside through the covers. This is going to run away for 4, I hope. Yes, it does. Gets all the way down there. Really nice, compact little punch as Adrian Holstock signals 4 to the empty stadium. And South Africa go to 109 for 1. That takes Dean Elgar into the 70s. Now I think he's 73.
Just has to keep ticking along. Just keep ticking along. That was a very good shot. Straight from the middle of the bat. So it was quite the punch as well. And just racing to the boundary. Love to see it.
I mean, I've generally enjoyed all the golf that I've played. But what tends to happen is that I play and enjoy it and it's fun. And then I start improving and I start caring. And the second you start caring about golf, then it has a way of making you the most miserable man on earth.
I see. Okay, I'm taking notes. As soon as I have enough money to buy like golf clubs, I'm not going to.
Yeah, excellent. Good move. Cut away through the offside. There is a sweeper down there now and is collected, sent back in. Elgar to 74. South Africa 110 for 1.
No, very good looking cut shot there. Just off the back foot as well. Leaning back, giving himself a bit of room and just cutting it square very sweetly from the middle of the bat. And he's looking good, Nick, is Elgar. And we just hope that he stays this way and just keeps his focus hat on. And
he is now. He was lucky to survive that period of it's only about 2 or 3 overs where he really just looked out of sorts around about the 40s. But he's looking much, much better now. He's leaving it better. And so I think he's now within sniffing distance of triple figures. He should definitely be looking at trying to get that 100. What's he got? He's got half an hour. No, so he'd have to score 26. He's going to go to bed in the 90s, isn't he? Oh, dear. I see Fernando again and just defended off the back foot by Rassie van der Dussen. Shows the full face of his bat and squares up those shoulders of his and looks at Fernando through his Melania Trump eyes and cheekbones and intimidates the young debutant somewhat. Sure, he's definitely got supermodel cheekbones as Rassie van der Dussen.
Oh, yes, 100%. Well, I have a few tweets here. More tweets. People are loving your golf chatter, Simon, I must say. Things to hear on Gorilla SA. This is from David Midgie. Hearing Simon Gear say, "Get in the hole!" Seems like a Messi J's type of thoughts. And another one from Josie Oak. Here's a question. If you were offered a golfing weekend for free with a high-end, all expenses paid in a top location, but you had to play around with Trump, would you take it? This is Donald Trump, not Melania.
I would pay to play around with Trump. I would love to know whether, because I don't understand whether he is insane or evil.
Or evil.
Yeah, I mean he's one or the other.
But you don't know what it is.
but I don't know what it is. And so a chance to actually find that out, because I mean, I've heard people meet him and say he was a perfectly pleasant guy, and I've heard other people meet him and say that he was a raving lunatic. So who knows? Would I want to play golf with him though? So this is a chance for Spin to come in. Hasaranga is the new man into the attack. Straight away, drifts a bit into the offside, and Dean Elgar will drive him out to the cover boundary. The diving stop by Dimuth Karunaratne comes up north, and so Dean Elgar goes to 78 now. The lead diminished to just 43, and South Africa looking good.
No, this oak is in good nick. Fantastic shot through the covers, waited for it to be right under his eyes, and just played this sweetly for 4 runs. I love to see it. Love to see discipline. Yeah. No, it's just looking fantastic.
That spinner who came out when Sri Lanka beat us, and he injured remember he broke his finger fielding off his own bowling. He was a debutant. It was really Ajinka or something like, I don't know, I can't remember what his name was. It was played into the onside and they jogged through for 2. He was really good and a sort of exciting prospect. I don't think he's even on this tour.
I'm quickly going to check for you.
Chris TB, if he's listening, will be able to fire out that answer back to us.
Chris TB, holla at me.
I was thinking about this American thing, the get in the hole. I'll let you know about my thoughts after this. As Haranga comes right arm over and just played into the onside by Dean Elgar. Dean Elgar is just milking this boy for all that he's worth. That's 10 runs off the over now. And Dean on to 84. And suddenly the possibility of going to sleep tonight with triple figures against his name is looking very, very real. Now, I was thinking, the Americans watched cricket. What would they yell? This would be the equivalent of the god-awful get in the hole.
I don't know. I'm trying to...
Ball in the ball!
Ball in the ball!
I don't know. Whatever it is, it would be bloody horrendous. What do they yell at baseball games? Does anyone know?
I think it's hey, batter, batter, batter. I'm no baseball expert, but
doesn't I've never understood the hey, batter, batter, batter. Isn't that something that the catcher says? Or does the crowd yell that? Hey, batter,
I think it's the catcher, eh? Hey, batter, batter.
Why does he say that? What's he saying? What is he trying to get going there?
I don't know what. Why do I say, oh, I've seen better shots in a robbery when I'm standing behind the stumps? It's the throw of the batsman.
But not batter, batter, batter. If you just sat there going batter, 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 batter like a little 2-stroke engine, I mean the batsman wouldn't know what to do. Worked into the onside. That's 11 from the over now. All of those accruing to Elgar. He's on 85, and the final ball, so there's still 11 off it, and 1 ball still to come. That'll be coming to Van der Dussen. Maybe Hasaranga prefers to bowl to right-handers. We'll see. He's got a short leg and a slip, and a man at short cover, and a man at short mid-wicket. It suddenly looks like he's going to be bowling with intent. Let's see what happens. Right, over the wicket, short length and defended. That's the end of a first rather unimpressive over from Hasaranga. Carry on.
Lasith Imbuldinha is the man you seek. That's from David Midgie on the tweets.
Yes, what's happened to him?
I don't know. Let's have a look. Let's have a quick Google while we quickly look at all these tweets. Sorry, a lot of tweets came while I was trying to search for things. All the tweets come when I'm not looking at them. Not allowing the lady to feel comfortable at all as Elgar smashes him for 4, and that was much earlier. Yes, take it to the bowler. Don't let him get comfortable. Definitely agree with my main man, David Midgie. We have another one from Chris TB saying, I think I'd do it just for the story. One doesn't have to like the man to acknowledge that it would be a unique experience. And that's talking about playing a round of golf with Donald Trump. And that was Chris TB.
I mean, I would be fascinated to meet Ivanka because, and not for all obvious reasons, but and I'll tell you in fact, there's an abortive run up here, so we've got some time. So I watched a brilliant documentary that was made in about 2000, 2001, round about then. It was made by the heir to the Johnson & Johnson fortune, I think, one of these trust fund kids. And he was about 23. And what he did is he took a video camera and he went around interviewing his trust fund mates in New York. And so, all these seriously rich teenagers and sort of early 20-year-old kids. about what life was like. The bouncer way over Dean Elgar's head, and it goes for a wide. South Africa 122 for one. And all of them were completely and utterly vacuous, except for Ivanka Trump. She was the only one who showed any sort of understanding of the nature of her father's business, any sort of... she was still obviously incredibly pampered and incredibly out of touch with sort of man on the street type life. But she was the only one who really seemed to understand her place in the world. Shorter ball, but down the leg side and easily avoided. So I was quite interested then. And then when Trump first started running for president, a lot of people looked at her and said, she's going to be the moderate voice in the White House and the sort of liberal voice in her father's ear. And she and Jared had some reputation for being, part of the, certainly rich and clueless, but part of the liberal elite of New York rather than the sort of maniacal power hungriness of her father. And that clearly went out the window once they all got into the White House. But I think she would be a sort of more interesting, complex person than her dad, who I do think is probably just fundamentally insane. Played off his pads, and that's going to run away. He really is hitting it well now, is Dean Elgar. Everything just pinging off the middle of the bat. And he now goes to 89. And I think the prospect of getting to 100 in the next 20 minutes has got to be very great here. In fact, even getting those 31 runs required to reach Sri Lanka's total of 157, looking pretty good as well.
100%. And this one to the leg side, just played before the pads. It's looking very sweet, timing it fantastically, finding the middle of the bat. Yeah, man's in good nick. He needs to get those 3 figures just to keep it going, keep this energy, keep this momentum. And I was thinking about momentum and game changes when I was earlier in the game. Sorry.
Right arm over and just played off his hip down to fine leg. He collects it. They just go through for that agreed single. Takes Elgar into the nervous 90s. And South Africa to 127 for one.
Now, just talking about game changes and Wiaan Mulder, what's very remarkable about his bowling display is that he really changed the game, really put pressure on the Sri Lankans with his spell, with those 3 wickets in 11 balls, taking out the danger man, Pereira especially, which was the key there. So maybe Dean Elgar could have the same effect here, just staying within the innings, keeping that scoreboard ticking. And I mean, Rassie van der Dussen on the other end, just sucking up balls, sucking up pressure. We have a great partnership over here.
Absolutely. As they drop one into the onside, there's a bit of a scamper. Dean Elgar nearly got himself tangled with the bowler as he tried to get through there, but they managed to make it through safely. Van der Dussen to 22, South Africa to 128 for one. Look, I mean, Elgar is just such a classic opening batsman from the Gary Kirsten mold, isn't he? And just the deeper he can bat into the innings, the better South Africa looks.
Hello, I'm back.
Oh, hello. I was vaguely wondering what had happened to you.
Yeah, sorry, my connection dropped a little bit. What is Asita Fernando doing? He's bowling short, he's bowling to the leg side, and he's got all his fielders still on the offside.
Oh, and as we speak, a shot of the presidential jet flying over the Wanderers. A right arm over wide. Oh, he has a bit of a flash at it, as Dean Elgar, just after I was saying how well he was batting.
The nervous 90s.
Nearly got a top edge to that. And I suspect we might see him just go into his shell slightly with that loose shot.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he's got a word now from Rassie. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Also, David says that Mbaldania is in the touring squad. That spinner that you're talking about. He's there.
Oh, okay. He's there. Because I was really impressed by him, the little bit that we saw of him. I think he broke his finger on debut, or did he break it during the second game? But he bowled nicely. And to have a Sri Lankan team without a sort of obvious first line spinner is a strange experience, isn't it?
It really is.
Yep. It defended into the onside, no run. That's the end of that over. Fernando has now, in his debut period in Test match cricket, taken 1 for 30 off 10 overs. I think if you'd offered him that this morning, he absolutely would have taken it with his breakfast cornflakes.
Yep, and he's strayed a little bit in that last over. So I'm disappointed for Sri Lanka fans because of that. 94-run partnership, 150 balls, 65 contribution by Algar and 22 by Rassie van der Dussen. Let's not say anything more about Algar's score. The partnership 13 fours and a strike rate of 63 with 7 extras thrown in there for good measure by Sri Lanka.
Otto, I must apologize. I've just seen that you were in the waiting room for 10 minutes. I had no idea that it was. I just completely forgotten that it was my job to let you in. Right, is it a resumption of spin as Hasaranga just floated down to Rassie van der Dussen, plays it into the offside, no run?
My wife was signaling to me like, "What's going on? What's happened to you?" Because she's listening on the other side of the house. Yeah.
Hello, Carla. It's nice to know we have a listener. Slightly shorter ball, and Rassie van der Dussen plays this off the back foot. It's going away through the offside. He's going to get 4. South Africa to 132 for 1. Van der Dussen goes up to 26.
Nice shot there by Rassie. Full control, punishing the short ball. Too short by the leg spinner. Enough time for Rassie to send that ball packing to the point boundary. Nice shot.
We have another tweet here from Chris saying that Algar has only been dismissed in the 90s once. Surely he can't do it 2 games in a row. Surely not.
And he's been dismissed in the 190s. I saw his highest score ever is 199.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, another one. Oh,
yeah,
that's why his head hung so low with Faf du Plessis. I was wondering.
Sure. Floated up and hit hard into the ground by Van der Dussen, enough that it actually bounces over the man at short cover and runs away for 4. He must have hit that incredibly hard.
That's quite the
be a shot ball and go that far.
One way to beat the field. 102-run partnership is up, 153 balls. So great stuff here for the second wicket partnership, Algar and Van der Dussen.
2/3 of those runs scored by Dean Elgar, 65 to Van der Dussen's 30. Which is unusual, but Elgar, particularly in the last 25 minutes, has been batting very, very quickly, and Rassie started so slowly. How many balls did he face for his first run? Something like 25.
It's 25. Around there. Yeah. I was thinking 22 initially when he got off the mark. Very good shot this one, as you said, a bum ball. That's a trick shot, I must say. If we're playing beer pong or something, that would get two drinks. There you go.
It was full by Hasaranga, so when he drove the ball, it went into the wicket itself, allowing Rassie van der Dussen to also extract some bounce. Next one.
Here comes Hasaranga in again, right arm over. Shorter ball. Well, he dragged it down. You could see it come out of the back of his hand and get dragged. And Van der Dussen probably slightly irritated that he didn't get more of that, but it was faster as well. And he could have landed up getting... I think he was trying to bowl the top spinner. And because it kept low, he could have easily got himself into trouble if he had tried to really smash that. This time, Van der Dussen watches it very, very closely, almost in a parody of watching it into the keeper's gloves. No run. 136 for 1.
Even looked the keeper in the eye just at the end there.
Yeah. I mean, his nose was close enough to his gloves to be sniffing them. Right, he plays it into the onside. They're just going to jog through to sneak a single to the man at Madon. That is the end of Hasaranga's second over, 0 for 20. Not a great start for him. And they really are. Well, he's all over the place at the moment. He hasn't really settled into a rhythm. A bit of a problem for the Sri Lankan captain as to what to do about building pressure from one end at the moment. So that's got 137 for 1.
Yep, and so they don't have a fifth seamer at this point. Trying Hasaranga as the fifth bowler, not working out in those first 2 overs. So hopefully for Sri Lanka's sake, Hasaranga can get into that rhythm because he's not a 10 per over bowler in Test cricket from what we've seen so far on this tour, or in the first match at least.
We have David Vigi saying, on Twitter saying, Rassie van der Dussen taking a single off the last ball of that over to prevent Algar from having strike at the start of the next one. And then it's just a little gif of a very homely farmer with a cap that just has the caption, "It ain't much, but it's honest work."
Dussen now slashes it somewhat outside half of the bat. It's enough to go through to the boundary. and riding his luck somewhat, but he goes, he gets another 4. South Africa goes to 141 for 1, Van der Dussen 35. And maybe he's decided he would like to go to bed tonight with 50 to his name. That could have gone anywhere, Rassie van der Dussen. I think he was lucky not to hold out at point.
The point is just a little bit more backwards, a bit of a backward point there. So it could have been deliberate, probably was.
Wasn't that deliberate, I don't think. His hand came off the bottom of the bat.
Touche.
Chamira comes in again and left outside the off stump, no run.
Yeah, but
South
no
Africa
doubt.
trailed by 16 now.
Say again?
I was just saying South Africa trailed by 16.
Thank you. Van der Dussen's really kicking on now. Starting to put pedal to the metal here, or pedal to the floor.
Yeah, this is good to see.
It is.
And Chamira hasn't been very economical. Yeah, so he's punishing Chamira, but that one was almost a wicket there.
Yeah, he really could have got unlucky there. Chamira in past Adrian Holstock, and this time it is driven far more confidently, but he does find the man at a short cover, who I think is Dilma Karunaratne, and he does the fielding, no run.
Yeah, so let's see if Chamira, for Sri Lanka's sake, can tidy up his figures before the close of play, which is about 10 minutes away now. He's got 3 balls to go in this over. Conceded the 1 boundary so far. So from South Africa's point of view, job done for the over. Rassie can just defend the rest of this over. Don't give him a chance to improve those figures. Seeing him again.
So coming into bowl, his 4th ball of the over to the right-handed Rassie van der Dussen, who stands nice and tall, leaves it through to keeper De Quella, and no run. Interesting little tidbit that has got nothing to do with the cricket whatsoever, but someone in one of my other WhatsApp groups complaining that they were stopped by the cops today because they and their daughter, or at least a family member, I'm not sure which, were pulled over for not both wearing masks inside the car.
Oh, wow.
And apparently this is now a new rule in South Africa, that everyone needs to wear a mask even when they're inside a vehicle. I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to, but...
wait, is this when you're alone or when there's someone with you?
When there's someone with you, even if it's a member of your family. And I suppose the argument is the cops don't know whether or not it's someone of your family, and so they're going to pull you over. And they're just going to make that the rule. But because I did see someone wearing a mask yesterday, I think 2 people wearing a mask. But you normally just assume, well, that's someone and their employee or something like that. In which case,
it's someone who isn't in their own bubble. They're in separate bubbles.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll ask our ward councillor for clarity on that rule. That's interesting.
But it makes sense.
Ward councillors bloody loving life at the moment, aren't they? With all the inane questions they're getting about pandemics. Left outside the off stump and no run. It's that time of the evening where the cameramen are starting to show pictures of birds and leaves and those sort of things. I think everyone is probably ready to call it a day. There's a picture of a red-winged starling, which is one of the largest starlings that you get in this part of the world. It's got a very whistly call, not unlike a bird of prey, actually. And they like to nest in cliffs. And they were unheard of that you saw them in Joburg until about 8 or 9 years ago. Then they suddenly started showing up. Now they're fairly common.
That's very interesting.
That's always interested me. Why certain bird species seem to thrive. Obviously, doves are all over the world in every big city almost, I would say, and then the hardy-daws here in the suburbs of Pretoria, where I grew up, and you certainly see them all over the show. And but that's a discussion for another day.
You can always talk about birds, and I can give you answers to all of those things now. It's defended into the offside. It's a new over, by the way. Hasaranga is bowling to the left-handed Elga and defended into the offside, no run. So, I mean, all of those birds are finding
myself because of the cricket.
I just carried on talking about birds. Played into the onside, but he finds the fielder and no run. So, hardy-daws, for example, are flavors. So they
flavored?
flay like VLEI, marsh birds.
Oh,
marshy
flay.
birds.
Oh, like marsh.
So
You said
well watered lawns are an absolutely perfect environment for them, and that's where you see them going around and putting their beaks into
the ground,
in the ground, looking for little worms and so on. And what you must do is listen to them when they do it. They're normally in groups of 3 or 4 while they do it. As Hasaranga comes in again, and this is worked around the onside, they're going to be able to get through for a single, and that takes Dean Elger to 91 now, but off the strike, 142 for 1. Is if you listen to them when they're close together to each other like that, they talk to each other. They make little sort of cooing noises to each other. And I've always thought if herbivore dinosaurs made noises to each other, I'm absolutely sure they would talk to each other like hardy-dogs do. Not the big loud call that they're famous for, but those little cool noises that they make to each other. It's a really, really cute little noise.
We have a quick
I'll look out for that next time.
Yeah, you must. Let's take that tweet after this ball as Hasaranga comes into the right-handed Van der Dussen. Textbook forward defensive and no run.
Looks very good. Algar, from David Midgie saying that Algar standing on the non-striker's end as Van der Dussen eats the strike like Pac-Man, whilst he's in his 90s with 10 minutes left of the day. And there's another gif of Kim Kardashian going, "So rude."
And you did the gif so well for us as well. But he now does take a single on the last ball of the over. And so once again, Van der Dussen will take the strike. Is he now acting as a what's the word? As a night watchman for the man in his 90s? That's a possibility.
Yeah, if I were Algar, I wouldn't mind this at all. Just watching some cricket from the other end and no risk of losing my wicket. Even if I have to come back the next day to be on 90, that'll be fine.
Yeah, to nick off the second slip after putting 2 runs to your total. There was a stat. Who was it for? It was one of South Africa's top players, like AB or Jacques Callis or someone like. I think it was Jacques Callis. That when he went, what was it? It was something along the lines of, if he carried his bat overnight, when he already had more than 50 or something, his average was like less than 20 the next morning. We'd have to get Chris to find the exact stat for us, but it was a really interesting little study that these guys don't necessarily like having the hiatus in their innings at all. And I think when you look up the scoreboard and you see you're on 90 something or 120 or whatever overnight, you sort of trick yourself into thinking that your eye's already in, and maybe you're slightly more confident than you would be starting a new innings entirely the next morning.
Yeah, so overconfidence for some people.
Who do you think would come in now to bat if a wicket falls down? I see Faf is still in his whites. But I'd be Heinrich Nortje again, probably. Chamira is the bowler, wide outside the off stump. 2 Van der Dussen left alone, no run. In fact, there's just been a shot of Heinrich Nortje, who is still in his blues. So he's not about to come in if a wicket falls. In fact, I think this is no, I doubt it. In fact, we're at 5:30, with 27 past. If a wicket falls now, I'm pretty sure that they would leave.
That's the answer at the end of it.
But it's interesting to see that he didn't get into his whites maybe 2 or 3 overs ago, just in preparation. They must have been planning to use somebody else.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Maybe
no, I don't think they would make Ngidi the night watchman, would they?
Night watchman.
Has he got the temperament at all?
That's unnecessary.
I didn't see anybody else in whites there. Mulder didn't have whites on, but he's an all-rounder.
I'm pretty sure I saw Ngidi not in whites as well. The only guy I saw in whites was Faf. Maybe Faf just decided he's happy to do the job.
Yeah, because they ask the next batsman coming in, don't they? Do you want a night watchman? And then it's a yes or no. And then so if you want to go, you can go.
Unless you're Captain Steve Waugh and he just tells you what you're going to get.
Okay. So last few minutes of the day, all South Africa's day. Definitely South Africa's session.
Very much. South Africa trailing by 14 with 9 wickets in hand. It's so they're going to be starting fresh with a ball that is, gosh, how many overs old? 30, if not
40? 36 over. This is the 36th over.
Sure. So I mean, South Africa could come in and make serious hay tomorrow. And really,
job done by Van der Dussen.
Sorry about that. Just they bat the day out tomorrow. It'll be fantastic just to stay in, because I mean, there's so much time. There's literally just so much time to set yourself. No pressure at all. No scoreboard pressure. So yeah, it's South Africa's game to lose at this point. They're in a great position.
Yeah, I mean, they would actually have to struggle to lose it from here, I think. Played through the onside, just whipped off his pads. He's going to get a couple of runs. So he's going to land up going into the hut tonight in the 40s. Van der Dussen goes to 40 exactly. And these score to 147 for one. And that now brings South Africa to within 10 runs of the Sri Lankan total.
Van der Dussen now also looks like good nick as well. Took him some time as usual, but as I said, love to see it. So I love to see it when he strikes from the middle of the bat, because once he's in, he's hard to get out, eh?
Absolutely, and I think for all of these South African batters, this is one of the best opportunities probably in your entire career that you have to really make a big score.
Yeah, I mean, this is 200 territory if they wanted, outside the off stump and left alone, no run. I mean, it's still not easy to get it double 100. I mean, you still got to go out and bat forever. But they certainly would. They're going to bat until they're all out. There's no time pressure here at all. So that, even if all out is the end of day 3, they would still quite happily do that. So there's opportunities here to score really, really big if they wanted. On a pitch that doesn't seem to have any vagaries at all. We thought we saw a little bit of uneven bounce in the early part of the South African innings, but it seemed to quieten down through the course of this afternoon that I've been commentating, certainly. And I think this pitch is going to be full of runs tomorrow. The other thing we need to bear in mind is that we're not going to get a day 5. There's rain forecast all the way through Thursday. So they do need to be aware that they might need to actually force a declaration maybe towards the end of tomorrow. I mean, if they lead by, what would it be?
300, 250?
Yeah, 300. I think if they get a lead of 300, put Sri Lanka back in, I think that's
100%. Yeah.
And now they're showing some stats for Dean Algar again, which we will ignore.
Maybe you can ignore it, Otto.
Well, this is Dean Algar's second score. Second time is in the 90s.
Hasaranga bowling again and just defended again into the onside. So having gone for 20 runs in his first 2 overs, Hasaranga is now 0 for 22 off 3.4. It's only 2 runs off the following 10 balls. And I think that's a good sign that the South Africans have shut up shop for the evening. This will be the last 2 balls of the innings. Of the day, rather. That would be a bold move to declare at 144. Trailing by 10.
Give Sri Lanka a first innings lead by declaring on 147 for 1.
Someone would get a letter back for that. And he finishes the day by just turning one down to third man, and they're going to run hard, see if they can get the 2. No, they stick to the 1. Algar is going to go back to his hotel in Centurion, of all places, or Irene, on 92 not out. South Africa 148 for 1. They trail by 9 runs. It has been very, very much South Africa's day and very much Dean Algar's day. And I think he will feel incredibly satisfied with the way things have gone.
Yep, the only blemish on his record for today was that dropped catch. But other than that, he's been his usual nuggety self. So there you go for the Dean Algar drinking game. We've used the N-word for the 3rd time, I think. So we tried to stay away from that. And with those crab-like defensive shots at the end of the day, he did indeed decide that was enough. So well done to South Africa. 11 wickets in the day. They got all 10 Sri Lanka's wickets, and in the post-lunch session, only Markram was dismissed. So good work by South Africa. Maharaj, it looked like, was also padded up there, just for interest's sake.
That's exactly who it would have been, yeah. All right, guys, well, I think let's call it a day as well. Thank you very, very much. You guys have both done a double session this afternoon. And, we will see everybody at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Have a lovely evening, everybody. Cheers, cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.